I think let's start now.
Right. With the permission of the chair, formally, I'm starting this webinar on good governance and public policy. Greetings from Atal Bihari Vajpayee School of and Entrepreneurship, Alumni Association of JNU New Delhi, and Association of JNU New Delhi. We are here to start discussion on good governance and public policy, as the day is being celebrated as Good Governance Day after the Modi government came into the power in the central in 2014, and this is being the birthday of former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee, and who is known for the good governance. So we are pleased to have eminent speakers from the industry, academia, and also from the government. Today we will be having 14 speakers, and we will be having their views on good governance and policy. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Mahip for formal welcome on this occasion. Dr. Mahip.
Thank you, sir. Honorable Rector, JNU, Professor Rana Pratap Singh, sir. Your Highness, Justice S. Kumar Singh, sir. Honorable Chief Secretary, Government of Andhra Pradesh, Sri Adityanath Das, sir. Honorable Director, Atal Bihari Vajpayee Institute of Policy Research and International Studies, Sri Shakti Sinha, sir. Honorable Director and Vice Chancellor, Professor Manoj Pant, sir. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Mahatma Gandhi Central University, Motihari, Professor Sanjeev Kumar Sharma, sir. Honorable Dr. Sujit Kumar Vajpayee, sir. Your Excellency, Dr. BBL Madhukar, sir. Honorable Sri R. Ramanan, sir. Respected Dr. Rajesh B. Biniwale, sir. Your Excellency, Bhargav Mitra, sir. Your Highness, Sri Rajiv Jain, sir. Respected Dean of Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Professor Unnat P. Pandit, sir. Excellencies, eminent scholars, distinguished guests, notable delegates, respected life members of Alumni of JNU, esteemed JNU alumni friends, research scholars and students from various universities and research institutions, all the viewers, listeners, and participants from the different part of the globe, ladies and gentlemen, on the auspicious occasion of the birth anniversaries of two Bharat Ratnas, Param Pujya Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, and birth anniversary of Param Adarniye Bharat Ratna Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya ji, the day today, 25th December, which is being observed as Good Governance Day throughout India today. Alumni of JNU, in association with Atal Bihari Vajpayee Study of Management and Entrepreneurship, Mahatma Gandhi Central University, Bihar, BRICS Chambers of Commerce and Industry, and GRC India, is organizing a national webinar on good governance and public policy for self-reliant India. On behalf of alumni of JNU and associations, I, Dr. Mahip, the convener of this 15th edition of Aaj webinar series at JNU, New Delhi, welcome you all to participate in this very interesting, fascinating, full of knowledge, insights, intellect,
Professor Rajiv, I think Mandeep ji has some connectivity issue.
Okay, so now this is turn to invite Dr. Dheeraj Kumar Singh, the General Secretary of Alumni Association of JNU, for introductory address. I welcome Dr. Dheeraj.
Thank you.
You need to unmute. Yeah.
Thank you, Mahibji, for your welcome remarks. Good evening and namaskar to everyone. I am Dr. Dheeraj Singh, General Secretary of Alumni Association of JNU. Hope you all are in great health and spirits. A very warm welcome to you all on this 15th National Webinar by Alumni Association of JNU, Atal Bihari Vajpayee School of Management and Entrepreneurship, GRC India, and our knowledge partners, BRICS Chambers of Commerce and Industry, and Mahatma Gandhi Central University, Bihar. As the year is passing by, we all are able to realize the importance of life, governance, and policies. Taught self-reliant individuals and take our to a whole new path and move on the ladder of success. Today, we have organized this national on the topic Good Governance and Public Policy for Self-Reliant India. Good Governance Day is observed in India annually on the 25th day of December, which is also the birth anniversary of former Prime Minister Pujya Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji and Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya. Good Governance Day was 2014 to honor Prime Minister Vajpayee ji by fostering awareness among the Indian people of accountability in government. So we have organized this webinar on this auspicious remarkable Indian leaders. In general, good governance addresses economic institutions and public sector management, individual transparency and accountability, regulatory reforms, and public sector skills and leadership. Good governance is an approach of the government committed for creating a system for the nation building and development. Our moderator for today will be Professor Rajiv Sizaria ji for Atal Bihari Vajpayee JNU will be taking the proceedings further. I would like to thank all the organizing committee members for planning and organizing this event and appreciate the efforts put in by all. I would like to quickly introduce today's esteemed panel with us, Honorable Mr. Justice Shiv Kumar Singh ji, Judicial Member of Honorable National Green Tribunal. Sri Adityanath Das ji, IAS, and currently he is the Chief Secretary, Government of Andhra Pradesh. He is our alumnus also. Professor Rana Pratap Singh ji, Rector Jawaharlal Nehru University. IAS, former Private Secretary to Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, and Honorary Director, Bihari Vajpayee Institute of Policy Research and International Studies. Sri R. Ramanan ji is Additional Secretary and Mission Director of Atal Innovation Mission, Niti Aayog, Government of India. Professor Manoj Pant ji is the Vice Chancellor and the Director of Indian Institute of Foreign Trade. Professor Sanjeev Kumar Sharma ji, Vice Chancellor of Mahatma Gandhi Central University, Bihar. Dr. Sujit Kumar Vajpayee ji is the Joint Secretary, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Government of India. Sri Rajiv Jain ji, he is the Additional Director General, Press Information Bureau, and he is a spokesperson for Ministry of Housing, Urban Development, and Ministry of Urban, Ministry of Civil Aviation also. Dr. Rajesh ji is the Senior Principal Scientist and Head CTM Division, Niri, Nagpur, and he is a State Expert Appraisal Committee member in Maharashtra. Dr. BBL Madhukar ji is the Director General of BRICS, Chambers of Commerce and Industry. Sri Manish Inamdar ji is the Senior Director, ESR Group. Dr. Nakul Parasar ji, he is the Director, Vigyan Prasar. Professor Unnat P. Pandit ji, Dean of Atal Bihari Institute of Management and Entrepreneurship, JNU, and other eminent guests and speakers. I would again like to thank and appreciate the entire panel of speakers, associated organizations, and knowledge partners for giving their consent on being part of this national webinar and sharing their valuable thoughts amongst us. Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, he is an epitome and an ideal for everyone. He was 10th Prime Minister and has been the recipient of prestigious awards, Bharat Ratna and Padma Vibhushan both. His life was full of struggle, devotion, and commitment towards our nation, India, and his contributions have reaped many excellent achievements for our country. Sri Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya ji, who is also a recipient of Bharat Ratna, is another role model for all our Indian citizens. He was an Indian scholar, educational reformer, and politician notable for his role in the Indian independence movement. I feel that this legacy of great leaders should continue, and even if we adapt 50% of them, we say that we have done justice to our birth. We also understand that unke din alag the, where social media was not there like now, and with the gamut of multimedia platforms available nowadays, each of us can contribute in a big way for our country. I strongly feel and believe in this statement, which is from an old Hindi song, that हम ना सोचे हमें क्या मिला है, हम ये सोचे किया क्या है अर्पण. This truly fits with the current situation, and we need to introspect ourselves and see that each individual can contribute to our nation and societal development. Alumni Association of JNU has always made their alma mater proud by its accomplishments. With the kind of outreach and 80,000 plus network we have across the globe, we all are working towards building a sustainable system which will have self-reliant individuals who can take this journey forward for country's betterment. These webinars are organized to connect with you all and gather and culminate them into reality. Our Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji is constantly focusing on being a self-reliant nation, and this will be the best option to handle the future. India, having a large population around 130 crore, have many literate people, and after making themselves self-reliant, they should come up and help others who are not so fortunate and not so privileged. Self-reliant India gets achieved. I would like to conclude with a small poem of Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji. बाधाएं आती हैं, आए, घिरे प्रलय की घोर घटाएं, पार अंगारे सिर पर बरसे यदि ज्वालाएं, निज हाथों में हंसते हंसते आग लगाकर जलना होगा, कदम मिलाकर चलना होगा. कुछ कांटों से सज्जित जीवन, प्रखर प्यार से वंचित यौवन, नीरवता से मुखरित मधुबन, परहित अर्पित अपना तन मन. जीवन को सत सत आहुति में जलना होगा, गलना होगा, कदम मिलाकर चलना होगा. जय हिंद, जय भारत.
Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Dr. Dheeraj Kumar, you have founded strong base for today's webinar, and with the concluding remark of Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji's poem, हिंदी के प्रति उनका स्नेह और संयुक्त राष्ट्र संघ में हिंदी में वक्तव्य, और उसके साथ कुछ हिंदी की बातें आपने रखी, और उनके द्वारा जो हिंदी का प्रेम था और हिंदी के लिए जो उनकी अपना समर्पण था, उसको भी आज हम इस गुड गवर्नेंस डे के माध्यम से आपके द्वारा जो कंक्लूड किया गया उसका हम स्वागत करते हैं. और इसके बाद रिमार्क के लिए श्री कृष्णानंद महाराज जी को मैं आमंत्रित करता हूं, वो आए और रिमार्क प्रस्तुत करें.
आपका म्यूट है, अनम्यूट करना होगा कृष्णा जी.
अब हो गया.
फिर से म्यूट हो गया है.
No, it's coming.
Yes,
Krishna
yes.
ji.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Good evening, friends and distinguished guests and our alumni friends. As we are discussing today on national webinar on good governance, सबसे बड़ी बात है कि आज ही मुझे पता चला कि आज वाकई एक बड़ा दिन है, जिसे लोग बड़ा दिन कहा करते थे. हम जानते थे कि एक्समस जो है, क्रिसमस जो है, इसलिए हम लोग मनाते हैं. लेकिन आज जब मैं कुछ अध्ययन कर रहा था तो पता चला कि वाकई आज के दिन हमारे देश के दो महान सपूत का जन्म हुआ. एक तो मदन मोहन मालवीय जी और दूसरे हमारे श्री अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी, जिनका कि योगदान कहा जाए कि कम नहीं है. और मदन मोहन मालवीय जी को हम लोग महामना के नाम से भी जानते थे, जिन्होंने की बहुत बुलंदी से सत्यमेव जयते को का नारा दिया और बहुत बुलंदी से इस आवाज को उठाया, जो आज भी ये प्रचलित है। और हम लोग जब कहीं फंसते हैं, कुछ आवाज होती है, कहीं बात को दबाया जाता है, तो कहते हैं सत्यमेव जयते, सत्य की आखिर विजय होगी। जिन्होंने की एक सोच रखा कि भारत को विकास के पथ पे ले जाना है, युवाओं को आगे बढ़ाना है, तो देश की आजादी के लिए लड़ भी रहे थे, साथ में शिक्षा की ओर कि सबको शिक्षित करना, एजुकेटेड करना बहुत बड़ी बात है, इसको आगे ले जाना है। यही एक ऐसा रास्ता है जो कि हमें मार्ग प्रशस्त कर सकता है, देश के विकास को ले जा सकता है और हमें सेफ लैंड बना सकता है। उसी तरह हम बात करें आज के हमारे दूसरे महान योद्धा जो कि श्री अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी, जिन्होंने कि देश के लिए अविस्मरणीय काम किया। हर दिल, हर पार्टी, हर राजनीतिक पार्टी में जिसका समावेश हर कोई जानता है, उनका योगदान अविस्मरणीय रहा है। वो युवाओं के लिए बहुत प्रेरित किया करते थे। उनका एक कविता मुझे याद है, जब मैं मेरी मुलाकात उनसे 3 बार हुई दिल्ली में, तो कहते थे, बेटा एक कविता सुन लो 2 लाइन का। कहते थे, प्रगति पथ पर रे तरुण तेरा सफल अभियान होगा, पथ में कांटे भी होंगे शैशव का अभियान होगा। कहते थे जो रास्ता तुम चुन रहे, जो जा रहे हो, वाकई तुम अकेला तो चल करके देखो, कठिनाई मिलेगी, असफलताएं मिलेगी, लेकिन अंत में विजय तुम ही होगी, युवाओं की विजय होगी। एक कदम आगे तो बढ़ो। हमें ऐसी सोच आगे लेकर के जाना है, आगे बढ़ाना है। अगर आज हमारे देश में 135 करोड़ के करीब जनसंख्या है, तो हम सबसे उम्मीद तो नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन कम से कम खुद से हर कोई अपने आप को अगर ऐसा सोच, ऐसा विचार के साथ आगे बढ़े, तो मुझे लगता है, और एक उनकी सोच को भी जो है सो आगे प्रखर करता है कि वाकई देश हमारा प्रगति के रास्ते पे, सेल्फ लैंड के रास्ते पे एक स्वावलंब भारत की ओर आगे बढ़ा सकता है। तभी तो कहा जाए कि जब वो प्राइम मिनिस्टर 3 बार रहे, पहली बार 13 दिन के लिए वाजपेयी रहे, फिर दूसरी बार 13 महीने के लिए, और फिर पूरे अपने टेन्योर के लिए रहे। उनका सबसे बड़ा एक और महान बात ये कहा जाए कि वो हमेशा चाहते थे पीपल टू पीपल कनेक्ट, सड़कों का निर्माण हो, पूरे देश को जो है राज्यों को राज्य से जोड़ा जाए, गली गली के रोड को बनाया जाए, जो कि एक सबसे बड़ा सोच था कि लोगों को कोई प्रॉब्लम ना हो। कम से कम मुझे याद है कि एक कहानी पढ़ रहा था, जब वो अपोजिशन में थे, तो उन्होंने एक बार कहा वहां के यूपी के गवर्नर को कि उस गांव में रोड नहीं है, तो मेरे ये जो पेंशन निधि, जो मेरे ये जो एमपी का जो फंड है, इस पैसा को लीजिए, उस गांव में रोड बनवा दीजिए। तो फिर वो जो वहां के गवर्नर थे, वाकई उनसे प्रभावित होकर उन्होंने रोड फिर बनवाया। तो ऐसे सोच रखने वाले महान योद्धा, महान नेता के बारे में हम आज के दिन याद करते हैं और उनसे प्रेरणा लेकर के आगे बढ़ने की कोशिश करते हैं। तभी तो हमेशा कहते थे वाजपेयी जी, तो एक बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण कविता, उनका बहुत प्रचलित, सब लोग जानते होंगे। कहते थे, काल के कपाल पे लिखता हूँ, मिटाता हूँ, गीत नया गाता हूँ, गीत नया गाता हूँ। तो इसी के साथ ही मैं अपना वर्ड्स अब यहीं रोकता हूँ। कई लोग हमारे सीनियर लोग वेट कर रहे हैं, उनकी सुनने के लिए मैं अग्रसर हूँ। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Krishnanand ji, being the co-convener of Alumni Association of JNU, which is the organizer today. You have
Thank you so much.
You have very well presented remarks, and now it is turn to have a presidential address of today's webinar. And I welcome Sri Rajesh Kumar ji, President of Alumni Association of JNU.
Namaskar. I think I am audible, sirs?
Yeah, you are audible, sir.
As President Alumni Association of JNU, I welcome you all to yet another edition of our webinar series at JNU on good governance and public policy for self-reliant India. It's our proud privilege to have Honorable Justice Sri S.K. Singh ji, Member NGT, my friend turned bureaucrat Sri Aditya Nath Das, whom we lovingly call Addy, who recently became Chief Secretary Andhra Pradesh, my JNU Rector Dr. Rana Pratap Singh ji, and several other respected bureaucrats, scientists, academicians to be amidst us for this national webinar. Above all, there cannot be any better speaker amidst us than to have Sri Shakti Sinha ji, who had the privilege of serving as PS Private Secretary to late Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, one of the country's tallest leaders who claimed to be a poet first and then a politician, and a close aide would reflect on Vajpayee ji's personality from the Kargil conflict to the Pokhran nuclear test to the India signing campaign that made a paradigm shift in the way India is being governed. Besides, we have several other eminent academicians and bureaucrats, which include Sri R. Ramanan Sahab, Shri Sujit Kumar Vajpayee ji, Professor Manoj Pant ji, VC and Director IIFT, Professor Sanjeev Kumar Sharma ji, VC Mahatma Gandhi Central University Motihari, Professor Unnat Pandit ji, who is heading Atal Bihari Vajpayee Center at JNU, Shri Rajiv Jain ji, Shri BBL Madhukar ji, Dr. Nakul Parasar ji, and several others. This webinar is more importance as not one, but two of our Bharat Ratnas have their birth anniversaries today. Let me apprise you that the then President of India, Sri Pranab Mukherjee, conferred India's highest civilian award, the Bharat Ratna, on late Sri Vajpayee ji and Mahamana Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya ji posthumously on their birth anniversaries in 2014. After the Government of India's decision to mark the birth anniversary of Sri Vajpayee ji annually and celebrate it as Good Governance Day since 2014 to foster awareness among the Indian people the need for accountability in the government. The Good Governance Day event is a gentle reminder to the governments in power, the current one and the ones to come, that governance must be transparent, unbiased, and solely development oriented. But before I conclude, I would like to make a special mention about just two things. We'll urge all our JNU alumni across the globe to become life members and thereby strengthen the alumni from JNU, which is completely a neutral platform where our alumni have complete freedom to pursue their hobby, ideas, attitude of their choices and take them to logical conclusion. I must thank my Raj friends, especially our General Secretary, Dr. Dheeraj Kumar Singh, our Raj Treasurer, Krishnanand ji, EC member, Dr. Mahib ji, and friends like Sri Bhaskan, Professor Rajiv Siaria ji, who had kindly consented to be today's moderator, Dr. Gitanjali Batra, Professor Pavnesh Kumar ji, for the unstinted support to make this national webinar a grand success. Besides unequivocal technical and secretarial support from Mr. Biju Philip, Mr. Satyan Rawat and team, I am sure you all would agree that there would be several takeaways, many positivities, notwithstanding the COVID-19 pandemic, to take us all forward to making our country, India, Atmanirbhar Bharat. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Thank you, sirs.
Thank you, Rajesh ji. Being the president of AJ and Dheeraj ji being the secretary, you people have rightly taken initiative to organize this event. And being the co-organizer as Atal Bihari Vajpayee School of Management and Entrepreneurship, I am happy to invite our Dean, Professor Unnat Pandit. And it is our privilege and matter of great joy that today the birthday of Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji and our school is also in the name of former Prime Minister. So it is quite obvious to be the co-organizer of this event. And to introduce our Dean, I would like to call Ritika so that the formal introduction can be given.
Good evening, everybody. I would like to introduce Professor Unnat P. Pandit, Dean of ABV-SME JNU. Professor Unnat P. Pandit is a visionary professional carrying 20 years of experience in dealing with techno-commercial activities, protecting intellectual property, innovation, incubation, and entrepreneurship management. He has served in various fields of development, starting from research, academics, pharmaceuticals linked to IP innovation, skill, and entrepreneurship. His area of expertise is in managing, advising on complexity of innovative products, services, and research and development, offering solutions from concept to commercial success. Recently, Dr. Pandit has moved from bureaucratic role at Niti Aayog to academics career as a professor and dean of ABV-SME JNU. So I would like to introduce.
थैंक यू वेरी मच। आज हमारे देश की दो महान विभूतियों का जन्मदिन है। एक पंडित मदन मोहन मालवीय जी, जिनको कि महामना नाम से हम सब जानते हैं। उनके विचार उतने व्यक्तित्व के जैसे ही पवित्र और प्रेरक रहे। वो कहते थे कि हम मानते हैं कि धर्म चरित्र का आधार है और मानव सुख का सबसे बड़ा स्रोत है। हमारा मानना है कि देशभक्ति का एक शक्तिशाली उत्थानकारी प्रभाव हो जो जनमानस को उच्च विचारधारा वाली निष्काम कर्म करने वाली प्रेरणा दे। शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में उनके अमूल्य योगदान को आज भी हम याद करते हैं और उनसे प्रेरणा लेकर देश में विभिन्न विश्वविद्यालयों में आज उनके विचारों से प्रेरित शिक्षा को बढ़ावा दिया गया है। और दूसरे हमारे सबसे चहेते और प्रेरणा स्रोत श्री अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी। अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी के जन्मदिन को सुशासन दिवस के रूप में हम सब मनाते हैं। ये बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण है कि सुशासन क्यों? अटल जी जन जन तक सरकार की और सहकार की भागीदारी की प्रेरणा देते थे। एक ऐसा शासन वो चाहते थे कि सरकारी प्रक्रिया को व्यवहार बनाकर देश में एक खुला और जवाबदेह प्रशासन का निर्माण हो। और उनके विचारों से प्रेरित होते हुए ही आज सरकार काम कर रही है। देश में शांति और अनुशासन बनाए रखने के लिए देश के हर वर्ग के लोगों को तमाम सरकारी सुविधाओं से सज्ज करने के लिए और उनकी विकास में साझेदारी बढ़े, इस पर वो हमेशा जोर देते थे। उनके प्रेरित कार्य को आगे ले जाने का और सुशासन के मार्ग पर प्रशस्त करने का आज हम सबका दायित्व है। और उस दायित्व के निर्वहन में आज उनके द्वारा प्रेरित और उनसे प्रेरित सभी बौद्धिक महानुभाव आज इस वर्चुअल कॉन्फ्रेंस में गुड गवर्नेंस एंड पब्लिक पॉलिसी विषय पर मंथन करने के लिए हमारे सन्मुख आए हुए सभी गणमान्य अतिथियों का अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी स्कूल ऑफ मैनेजमेंट एंड एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप की ओर से मैं अभिनंदन करता हूं और स्वागत करता हूं। उनकी एक बात हमेशा से मुझे प्रेरणा देती रही। लक्ष्य के लिए की गई कड़ी मेहनत कभी भी आप पर थकान नहीं लाती है, वो आपके लिए हमेशा संतोष ही लाती है। हमेशा जो भी कार्य हम करते हैं उस कार्य को संतोष की दृष्टि से कैसे हम उसके लक्ष्य को हासिल करें। अंत में उनकी दो पंक्तियां दोहराकर कार्यक्रम को आगे बढ़ाएंगे। क्या हार में क्या जीत में, किंचित नहीं भयभीत में, कर्तव्य पथ पर जो भी मिला यह भी सही वो भी सही, वरदान नहीं मांगूंगा हो कुछ पर हार नहीं मानूंगा। हार और जीत को जीवन का एक अहम हिस्सा बनाकर आज के युवा बना ले और समानता के साथ कैसे देश के लिए, समाज के लिए कुछ नई बातें रखें, कुछ नए विचार रखें और अंत में समाज के हर तबके के व्यक्ति के लिए क्या हम कर सकते हैं, इस विचार को अपने हृदय में बीज मंत्र के रूप में स्थापित करें। इसके साथ ही मैं पुनः सभी अतिथियों का अभिनंदन करता हूं और इस कार्यक्रम के आयोजन में एल्यूमनी एसोसिएशन ऑफ जेएनयू, महात्मा गांधी केंद्रीय विश्वविद्यालय, ब्रिक्स कॉमर्स एंड इंडस्ट्रियल एसोसिएशन, जीआरसी एवं सभी अतिथि और मेरे प्यारे अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी स्कूल ऑफ मैनेजमेंट एंड एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप के सभी छात्रों का मैं स्वागत करता हूं, अभिनंदन करता हूं। धन्यवाद।
Professor Sijare, you are mute.
राजीव जी आप म्यूट है।
Am I audible right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. So after we had address from Professor Pandit, now I would like to request our senior most officer of the university, our rector, Honorable Professor. Before he start giving his address, I would like to call Amit Barma to introduce formally Professor Rana.
Thank you for the opportunity, sir. So, Professor Rana is a PhD holder from School of Life Sciences, Jawaharlal University, and is currently serving as a rector of Jawaharlal University. He has served as associate professor and professor in different universities such as the Central University of Gujarat, University of Colorado, and Jawaharlal University itself. He has also worked as a visiting scientist at the University of California, Riverside, California. A well-known researcher, Professor Rana has also been an instrumental person responsible for the development and prosperity of Jawaharlal University. And with his guidance and fruitful work, JNU is one of the top universities in India. Now, without further ado, I'm delighted to call upon Professor Rana P. Singh to enlighten us today.
Thank you very much for the introduction. First of all, I'd like to thank Alumni Association of JNU, Atal Bihari Vajpayee School of Management and Entrepreneurship, GRC India, BRICS-CCI, and MGCUB for organizing this national webinar. Esteemed organizers, Dr. Heep, Dr. Dheeraj, Sri Krishnanand Sri Rajesh Kumar ji, Professor Rajiv Sijaria ji, Professor Unnat Pandit ji, distinguished speakers, Sri Adityanath ji, Honorable Justice Shiv Kumar Singh ji, Professor Manoj Pant ji, Sri R. Ramanan ji, Dr. Sakti Sinha ji, Sri Sujit Kumar Vajpayee ji, Sri Rajiv Jain ji, Professor Sanjeev Kumar Sharma ji, Sri Manish Inamdar ji, Dr. Biniwale, Dr. Madhurkar, Dr. Nakul Parasar जी, श्री भार्गव मित्रा जी, गीतांजलि बत्रा और बहुत सारे alumni, students and participants. First of all, I'd like to express my warm welcome on behalf of JNU to all of you for organizing this very important webinar today. For me, it is a great fortune that I am associated with JNU from over long 3 decades, and I got an opportunity to serve in different aspects. Today's webinar on good governance, policy, and at the same time, self-reliant. It's very important in the current context when we are talking about the growth of the countries in different spheres and see how can become self-reliant, how we can become self-reliant in most of these areas. Since we are working here in the research institutions, we have tried institutions on the government systems. It is not only limited to the legislature or judiciary, but it should also apply to the media, private sectors, corporate sectors, cooperatives, societies, trusts, and other organizations, including NGOs. After all of them have the public accountability, and transparency should be there. It is equally important for all of them, for all these institutions, to have a transparent system, as all of them, they form and they drive the society as a pillar of strength to the country.
Who are attending this, they will be having that idea in very beginning and they will be proactive. Till now, things are going very well with the schedule. We're a little late by 5 minutes only, and we will be having the wisdom of all the eminent speakers. And if we will be confined with the given time, so the balance will be maintained, and everybody will be having his view, and we will be benefited out of that. Now, it is time to invite for the keynote address, and that keynote address will be given by Sri Adityanath Das ji, who is an IAS officer, and I invite Baisali Kanojia to formally introduce the keynote speaker.
Instead of Vaishali, I
करिए सर, आप ही कहें सर.
Sir, Aditya sir has not been able to join right now because of the connectivity issues.
He joining in half a minute. Just 5 seconds. Yeah, please continue.
So shall we move on to the next guest, please?
We can move on to the next guest, Justice Shivakumar Singh.
Has Justice Shivakumar Singh sir joined?
Yes, Biju.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
sir. I will be playing the
video.
Just a second.
Actually, he's traveling, so he has just sent pre-recorded video.
Share करना है, anyone share?
Is there any problem?
So no problem. Just a second. I will be playing his video.
Hello.
Sir, Mahip sir is sharing video
Sir, you
from
have joined, sir?
Aditya sir. Because of the connectivity issues, he couldn't connect.
Okay, yeah.
First of all, I thanks all of you present participating and Dr. Dheeraj Singh, General
ये
Secretary,
वीडियो चलाना था ना?
Sri Rajesh Kumar, Dr. Mahib, Professor U.P. Pandit for providing me an opportunity to participate in present webinar on good governance and public policy for self-reliant India. At a time when the world is suffering from a deadly pandemic, India plans to convert this crisis into an opportunity and strengthen its light and fight by becoming Atmanirbhar Bharat. The term was coined by the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi, during his address to the nation on May 12, 2020. He called this campaign as Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, that is Self-Reliant India Movement. He also defined 5 pillars of Atmanirbhar Bharat, that is economy, infrastructure, system, demography, and demand, and stressed upon the fact that it is time to become focal for our local and products and make them global. Under this campaign, a special economic package has been released by the government, which will benefit various segments, including cottage industry, micro, small, and medium enterprises, laborers, middle class, and industries, among others. And during this campaign, various programs were announced for Indian farmers, like minimum support price, and strengthening the infrastructure, promoting the vision for local with global outreach, and all other things. Being the judicial member of NGT dealing with the environmental matter, it is my past legal duty to communicate you that according to the provisions of Article 21 of Fundamental Rights, read with Article 48A of the Directive Principles of State Policy, right to life includes right to have fresh air and healthy environment. Nobody has the right to create pollution, endangering life of others on ground of commercial activities. The universal things And this universe and living beings are creation of Almighty God, that's called Bhagwan. And if we interpret the word Bhagwan, Bha, that is Bhumi, Ga, that is the Gagan, Va, that is the Vayu, A, that is Agni, Na, that is Neer. And when natural cycle of all five is disturbed due to mixing of poisonous or harmful materials, it is called nature of pollution. Friends, this is time to have a balance between the concept of sustainable development, and one has to keep in mind the principle of proportionality based on the concept of balance. Due to pre-engagement, I may be unable to be online, thus I request to excuse me. I again thanks for organizers for inviting me in this important webinar and wish for its great success. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Honorable Justice Shiv Kumar Singh. In his absentia, we have just listened his pre-recorded message. And now I would like to call upon Professor Manoj Pant, who is the Vice Chancellor and Director, Indian Institute of Foreign Trade. And for the formal introduction of Professor Pant, I would like to call Ayush Kapoor. Ayush.
Hello.
Yeah, you are audible.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. Good evening, esteemed guests. So next we have Professor. Sir is Director and Vice Chancellor of Indian Institute of Foreign and Trade. Sir is a graduate of St. Stephen's College, Delhi University, and Sir has completed his MA from Delhi School of Economics in 1975. He did his PhD from Southern Methodist University, Dallas, Texas, USA in 1982. He was a faculty member of Center of International Trade and Development School of International Studies, JNU. And Sir has also served as a professor of economics and dean at School of International Studies, JNU. Currently, Sir is serving as the director and vice chancellor of Indian Institute of Foreign Trade. Sir, I welcome you to this esteemed panel to deliver your thoughts on this discussion. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. I hope you can all hear me. And I'd like to thank the Alumni Association of JNU for inviting me to speak today. I spent 31 years in JNU, where I moved from Delhi University before I moved over to the IIFT. Now, let me get straight to the topic of good governance and public policy. I won't take very long. I will try to link it to what these things mean. And let's begin with the meaning of public policy. What exactly is public policy? And public policy is the policy of the government, so it's obligated to governance. And why is it called public policy? It is related to what we call delivery of public goods to the public. Now, public goods have very specific meaning in the world of both social economics and pure economics. And what it means is those commodities which otherwise a market will not deliver. So to take a simple example, a shoe or refrigerator or a television is not a public good because the market is quite capable of delivering it. You don't need the government to be selling televisions to people, etc. It's not their job. On the other hand, there are certain goods which the market cannot deliver because the nature of the commodity is such. For example, we know the best example, environment. I mean, this pandemic gives you the example of the second public good, medicine, medical. So medical health or health is a very important public good. Why? Because the reason is you cannot exclude anyone from the public good. So for example, if you cannot say, oh, someone else has has, let's say, TB, why should I care? That person can solve it, solve the problem, go to the health officials and get it cured. But I know that if he doesn't do it, then he's going to infect a lot of people and we're all going to be in trouble. So the pandemic or the coronavirus is an example of what happens when public health is neglected. And if it is only left to the market, then we'd all have been in trouble long back. So here's the basic distinction. Public policy means delivery of public goods. Public goods are things like environment, the clean air, good clean air. The former judge was just speaking. And in the late 90s, if the courts had not intervened and announced certain measures for improving the environment in Delhi, then we would have been in very serious trouble today. Yet it was not in anyone's interest to do so. So whenever the state needs to come in and deliver something which the market cannot deliver, that's when we call that as the issue of public policy. And how the state does it is what we would call governance. So governance and public policy are naturally linked. Let me try to give another link so you can, so it becomes a little clearer. Many, many years ago, and those of you who study history will have worked or have read the work of a very well-known historian called Francis Lane. And he has written many things. And one of the things he argued was that many, many years ago, all people were hunters and gatherers. There were very few people. They would hunt in one place, gather all the food they want. Minute they ran out of what they needed, minute the natural resources finished, they would simply get up and move on to the next place. Now, this could go on as long as the supply of the resource, which is land, was inexhaustible. Now, when more and more people started doing the same thing, then they started banging into each other. Up till then, there was no concept of private property. It didn't matter. Since there was no problems, anyone could sort of move on to wherever they wanted to and hunt. There was no need for private property. But the minute the land started running out or resources became limited, people started creating what are called enclosures. England enclosure movement of 16th century. In the world, it started. People started enclosing their plots because they felt, now I have to invest. I cannot move on somewhere else. I'm running out of land. Now, once you invest in a property, then someone has to help protect it from someone else who wants to encroach on it. And that's where the role of the state came in. So the state came in as someone to provide law and order in order to allow for the fruits of private property to be sustained by those who invest in private property. So that's where the role of governance of the role of state comes. Now, a very more recent example of this is the case of let's say, a third possibility is, so it's okay, let me just make it short. I don't want to go on too long. So those commodities, important issues, they could be quantitative, they could be qualitative, which the market cannot deliver, requires government intervention. That's called public policy. And how well the government delivers these is what is called good governance. And that's the link between governance and policy. Now consider what then is the role of the government. And consider the role of the government now in governance. Why did it rise? I just told you it is because of existence of commodities which the market cannot deliver. And if there's no government, there will be no delivery of that product. Let me take a more recent example from international history, since I'm sure there are many students here of international relations. Consider the 90s, when the Soviet Union broke up and started forming constituent countries. Now, suddenly you had a whole set of people who were in a communist world where the government delivered everything. Health, water, electricity, everything was done by the government. Suddenly the government disappears. Now, here is what we also know is that automatically a market mechanism doesn't start functioning. The rules of the game have to be established. And this is why from the time when the Soviet Union broke up till the time when Mr. Putin took over, the Soviet Union, with now modern Russia, was in chaos. Because although the government was gone, no regulatory system had been established. And therefore, someone had to set in to establish the rules of the game. And that is the other role which the government creates and which the government must have in any society, is that where they are not directly delivering the goods, they have to deliver fair rules of competition, if so we call it. For example, share market. If they don't have share market, there can be a lot of collusion. There can be a lot of insider trading. So the government has to set up an institution which makes sure that the rules of the games have to be established in the case of market delivery of products. Okay, so now therefore, let's apply these two things, the role of the government in governance to establish the rules of competition, or if you want to call it rules of regulating the marketplace is one, and the other is where the government has to be directly involved in delivery of the commodities, which is those in the case of public goods like environment, health, etc., so on and so forth. Education, yes, education is a must. For a long time, there was a debate, and there still is a debate in India. Is education a public good or private good? Certainly at the school level, at the elementary level, school level, and maybe some level of higher education, it is a public good because it is not for the market to deliver it. The market does not deliver the education that you want, even though society feels there is a need to have education. It may be perfectly in order for a person to never go to school and do whatever they want to do because it is not in their interest to have education. Yet, imagine a society where everyone's completely uneducated. This would be a terrible society. So, to that extent, delivery of basic and possibly secondary education to some extent by the state is an important element of public policy, and how the government supports this is a critical factor in determining how well governed or how good the people of society are. Okay, let me take some more examples from recent case. Let me take the case of trade, which everyone talks about, keeping in mind the theoretical principles that I just laid out. Now, if you look at the case of trade, for example, one of the things that we know in trade, economic, or even deliver, is one of the things is quality of the product is critical. It is not just enough of what I want to sell or what I want to buy or what I want to make within the country. You cannot say anything I make within the country is a good thing, doesn't matter what the quality is. Even if you're talking about self-reliance, or the Hindi equivalent of that, Atmanirbhar, we are talking about delivery of quality products to the internal market. We're not saying delivery of any product to the market. Now, what happens is, one thing we know is that quality of the product is very, very critically dependent on technology. There's just no way out of it. Technology is an indispensable part of today's existence. And this is the reason why the government for some years now, especially in more recent years, and even before that, right from 95, had focused, for example, on foreign investment. It is very clear that foreign investment brings with it a very important element of production, which is technology. And the best way of disseminating technology is by learning by doing. We learn from each other by learning by doing. Companies learn from each other by learning by doing. And this learning by doing is a critical component for investment, which is why you must understand, even though foreign investment may say, oh my God, we are calling people to produce. Actually, we are saying people come and produce in this country so that we have the technology to one day produce for ourselves. So it's an essential element of delivering technology. Now, why? Because technology, we have found over the years, does not have a market. Now, someone may wonder, why does technology not have a market? Because technology is owned by one person. Only he knows whether it's a good technology or a bad technology. I don't know. Take a car. Those of you who would like to go to the market and have a look, you'll see the cars which, unless there's a proper market for second-hand cars, only third-rate cars come to the market. Because the person who has a good car is unable to get a better price than someone who has a bad car, because no one knows. No one knows what is the quality of a product a person delivering, because the technology is specific to the person who produces the product. So how do I know what technology there is? So what economics we call, to be more technical, this issue of asymmetric information, which is why only substandard cars tend to be delivered in a second-hand market, unless there is a market for creating a second-hand cars market, which, as you can see, has developed in India over the last 10 years or so. So here we have the issue of technology, which is the point of view from which you would understand the role of the government and why so much importance is given to foreign investment, and not couch it in very simple political economy terms like foreigners, insiders, outsiders. I think those are quite meaningless when the objective is not simply self-production, but production with proper technology. Now, what is the one thing which is critical, and I go back to my example of the hunter-gatherer society of Francis Lane, which became a state. The one critical aspect of governance by any government, is that has to be inclusive. Why? Because in any country, whether it's a communist country or a democracy or a mixed economy, there are people with different entitlements, different capabilities. I may be capable of doing something else, but someone else is not. Yet I have the right to education, at least basic education, as a public good, just as much as everyone else does. So it is for the state to be able to ensure that whatever they do has a very important element of what I would call inclusiveness, and that's a very well-known term now in the literature. Now, this inclusiveness that I'm talking about, what is the one aspect of inclusiveness which is critical? It is not that the government must simply deliver public goods, but the government must be seen to be delivering it. You know that famous phrase in English, justice is not only important, justice given is not only important, it should be perceived to be given. So the perception or delivery of public goods is also very critical. And not enough to say, I have done this for you, I have done that for you. It must be perceived that the state has acted to deliver these basic elements of public goods, which I have just argued is essential governance. So let me wind up by saying that the two words, governance and public policy, are correlated. If we did not have public goods, we would not need public policy. If we did not have public policy, we would not need governance, and societies could become completely self-governed. For example, that is what those who read philosophy would have read from the work of Plato. That's what Plato's Republic was, a self-governed society. Everything is so good, everything is so equal, you don't need any governance. You can do away with the state. But we know that most societies of any kind cannot do that. The state must be there. But what must the state do? The state must provide public governance, and which maybe the best way to end it all is, therefore, the state has no business to be in private business. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Pant. And with the wide and exhaustive experience of yours, we could listen to you with the examples of technology and other things. And we understand this is a very interesting topic, and everybody can flash light on different aspect of this good governance policy. And we will love to have the wisdom of all of you. But it is how it is to be managed, that you people are very senior, and 11 people are, even 11 eminent speakers are left today. They will be also giving their address. So right now we are having the presence of our keynote speaker, Sri Adityanath ji. Sri Adityanath ji is with us, and I would like to call and request him to deliver keynote address. And to introduce Sri Aditya ji, I would like to call Vaisali Kanojia.
Good evening to one and all present here. I would like to welcome Sir Adityanath Das, a 1987 batch IS officer who is currently the Chief Secretary to the Government of Andhra Pradesh. Previously, he was a Special Chief Secretary of Water Resources and Environment, Forest, Science and Technology Departments. He worked as a Collector of Warangal in 1999 in the erstwhile undivided AP. He also worked as the Additional Commissioner of Andhra Pradesh Bhavan in Delhi, and is also the Director of Northeastern Indira Gandhi Regional Institute of Health and Medical Sciences on deputation to the centre. He has also worked as Commissioner and Director Municipal Administration Department. His stint as Secretary, Principal Secretary and Special Chief Secretary of Irrigation Department in the combined and bifurcated AP were remarkable. He has also worked as Special Chief Secretary of the School Education and Higher Education Departments. And now I would like to invite Sir to share his thoughts with us.
Just one thing, above all, he is a JNU alumnus.
Yes, sir.
Sir, you need to unmute Aditya ji.
Good evening. Good evening, eminent speakers, honorable guests. And thank you for inviting me and giving me this chance. And thank you, Vaishali ji, for introducing me. I mean, I've heard Dr. Pant just now. The views on good governance and public policy would be basically, it will revolve around my experience in the government, both at a junior level and at a higher level, because both levels, one level we are implementing the policies, and at other level you are participating in formulating the policies. So I will give that kind of perspective in this webinar. See, the two aspects, which is the public policy for the this public yeah. Nowadays, what is happening? Public policy generally comes from the laid down policies of the government, and which has some of the policies run around a long way. The elected governments are there, they lay down the public policy and the bureaucracy implements it. But of late, what is happening? The manifestos are there. And nowadays, many of the elected political parties, elected governments, they try to implement the manifesto because it has become important in the realm of the elections also, that they ask for what was the manifesto, what is the implementation. So more or less, the public policy derives most of its elements from the manifestos of the elected governments, and that is given to the government, the bureaucracy, to implement it. And as our job, we are supposed to implement that. There will always be discussions on what are those things laid down in the manifestos, how much they are valuable to the public, what are the long-term implications, what are the other aspects of that. But that apart, once a manifesto is being implemented by the government, then it becomes imperative for the bureaucracy to implement it. So the debate about the good, bad, or the elements of the public policy gets debated. It gets debated when the formulation of public policy is being done, when the papers and documentation is being done. It does get debated. But more or less, when it is laid down as a decision of the government, then it becomes the bounden duty of the public servant to implement it. At the implementation level, when the public policy is being implemented, there are basically three things a bureaucrat and a government servant does. That is implementation of the public policy, the problem solving, and the grievance redressal. These three aspects. Any aspect of the governance you take, and the good governance will depend upon how these public policy, which the public has supported when they elect a government, and how these public policies get translated into the action plans, the targets, and the resource mobilization, and the allocation of resources to implement those public policies. And there the role of the public servant comes. And the role of the public servant is, as I said, implementation, problem solving, and grievance redressal. I feel that for a good governance, all these three things must move in tandem. If these things are done properly, while implementing the public policy, the integrity of the policy, whatever has been laid down, whatever has been decided by the government, that policy also is in tune with the reality, with the resource, how much resources are at the disposal for the implementation of those policies, what are the instruments to implement those policies, and what kind of problems will throw up, and are we geared enough, are we competent enough to solve those problems, meet those challenges. These things are mapped out early while implementation of the public policy. While formulating of the public policy, the implementation becomes more or less very easy and smooth. More or less, what happens while formulating the policy, we don't go through all these the detailed examination of a public policy, how a public policy should be mapped out while implementing. Do we take into account the level of the bureaucracy, the person who is implementing a policy at the cutting edge level? What is his competence? What is his knowledge level? Is he really competent enough to do a problem solving situation arises in the field? All these things we don't take into account, because more or less we assume things on the way, that this is the policy, this is the way it is done. And then if it is not done properly at the formulation level, then it becomes a real big problem at the implementation level. And there the problems arise. Then comes the problem solving. Are we there to solve a problem? Are we ourselves a problem? One of the things which I feel in my journey through the different levels of my working in different places, The bureaucrats and the government servant is more or less perceived today as a problem creator, not a problem solver. We are like, the public looks at us, that is, if you go to a public servant with your problem, he will give back 4 more problems to you instead of solving a problem. So that's what is, and this is basically it is not that a person is intrinsically a good, bad person, or he doesn't know. It is that because the resources are not properly mapped out, the mobilization is not properly done, the human resource aspect has not been properly worked out, the competence levels have not been properly seen, and we hand out a policy and ask anybody to implement anything. So most of us are perceived that we are not solving a problem, we are creating a problem. We are always seen as a problem creator than a problem solver. So that aspect has to be keenly looked at, because all of us, any government is basically there to ensure not only the implementing a good government policy or welfare programs, but it is also to ensure that when something comes up, if there is an issue, if there is a problem, the government is at hand to solve those problems. I was hearing Dr. Pant right now about the pandemic, the corona virus issue, which has come this year. Now, this was a big challenge to the implementation part of it. Did we really prepare for it? Did we foresee? Did we have enough time to see what was the problem? What is the dimension of the problem? Maybe we did not know the whole thing, but did we learn along the way when it happened, when it unfurled itself during the last 9-10 months? Did we really learn the lessons that if such a thing happens, how do we take care of such an issue? It was a huge challenge for the whole health system of the country. So this is what is becoming an issue. The problem solving is not being looked at. When you formulate a policy, you must look at implementation and problem solving. And third is grievance redressal, which is a major issue. Grievance redressal and problem solving, you can say they overlap each other, but they don't exactly overlap each other. Problem solving is what comes out of the formulation of the policy. There will be some flaws in the policy which will give rise to the problem. We have seen many a times government gives some direction, and again the government will give another direction. Another government will give a third direction. In a span of very close proximity of time, you will find government trying to clarify itself again and again and again. What is that? It shows that the whole thing has not been worked out in a very detailed manner, and we are learning along the way and trying to solve it. This is the problem, which is because of the policy formulation itself. And grievance is that something there which is not coming out of the policy formulation. It is coming out of the interaction, the way it is being implementation. One thing will come out of the policy itself, the weakness in the policy or not properly worked out pluses and minuses, and another thing would be it will come out of the implementation part. At the implementation part, what comes out, we call it grievance, and that should also. So if these 3 things are properly seen, the formulation of public policy, which I said as earlier, that nowadays most of the manifestos are being put into the realm of public policy, and the bureaucracy is asked to implement it. And then the other things, how the whole system of the governance, how they start implementing it, and while implementing, how much are they trained and geared to do the problem solving, and how much empathy they have to look at the grievance spectrum of it, how it can. If these 3-4 things are done, I think we will move along the way, and we'll be able to give the state and the country a better governance. And this is my summation in short. And I thank you. I thank the hosts for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sri Aditya ji. Your experience with the government and your approach, you have beautifully explained the good governance by the few steps in problem solving, implementation phase, and grievance redressal and all other things. Right now, I would like to call Sri R. Ramananji for his address. And Sri Ramananji is the Additional Secretary and Mission Director of AIM Niti Aayog, Government of India. And Vaishali Kanojia will formally introduce our next speaker.
Hello, sir. This is Sachin. I'm going to introduce our Sri R. Ramanan, sir. He is the Mission Director of Atal Innovation Mission, a flagship National Innovation Initiative of Prime Minister and Government of India under Niti Aayog. AIM goals are to establish and promote vibrant culture of innovation and entrepreneurship nationwide. As a mission director of AIM, he has been instrumental to date in the launch and execution of several nationwide innovation and entrepreneurship initiatives. He was previously a managing director of CEO and of CMC Limited, a subsidiary of globally acclaimed TCS. Sri Raman led CMC rapid transformation from global government organization to the global IT private sector organization. Thank you, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, and good evening to everybody who has logged onto the call. First and foremost, I'm delighted and feel privileged to be part of this very august set of speakers who have spoken before me and who are going to be speaking after me, to be included in this panel on Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee's birthday. Indeed, it is indeed a very, very important topic for all of us to deliberate on good governance, especially in the modern context, especially in the context of technologies which are changing the landscape of the world, and in which technologies can play a very important role in ensuring good governance. But at the same time, technologies can introduce new challenges related to good governance. First and foremost, I hope that everyone is hale and hearty in spite of the COVID-19 circumstances, and that all of you are following the safeguards that need to be practiced during these pandemic times. As the speaker introduced, I'm part of the Atal Innovation Mission as the mission director in the Niti Aayog, the National Institution for Transforming India. And indeed, good governance is something that needs to be practiced, to be understood, and to be implemented across the length and breadth of our country, leveraging what is fast becoming available to us and affordable to us, technology. And also, good governance means that you have to constantly innovate in order to ensure that the gaps in governance, whether it is at a government level, whether it is at a civil society level, whether it is a private sector level, or whether it is at an individual level, can be addressed and can be filled. And that is why the importance of leveraging technology and ensuring that we can to be able to ensure good governance acquires new dimensions. Also, in the world, is there some echoing? Is that okay? Yeah. Also, in the world that we are seeing today, technology is changing the very shape of the world in which we are all living in. It is changing the way you're experiencing the world and the way the world is experiencing you. We are having communication technologies and data processing technologies which are sweeping the landscape and are making tremendous changes in the way we are able to reach across to different parts of the world, and different parts of the world are able to reach across to us. At the same time, we have also been seeing the impact of social media on the people, on governance, and in political systems that is now becoming rampant across various nations. Even in countries as advanced as the United States, they're constantly worried about social media and cyber technologies and cyber securities to be uplifted to a different level altogether in order to prevent bad governance or wrong decisions that are being taken or that may be taken in the political process. So it is very important for us to understand that while technology is a great enabler in being able to ensure good governance, we also ensure that we simultaneously use technology to prevent the bad effects of governance. Now, what is good governance all about? From my point of view, there are 8 simple points that we have to be looking at. Number 1, good governance means ensuring participation for people across the length and breadth of the country. We are a diverse country. We have 1.3 billion people. We have 715 districts. We have what are known as 115 aspirational districts. We have 650,000 villages in our country. We have more than 4,000 towns and small cities. We have only 8 tier 1 cities. We have more than 70% of our people in the rural sector and tier 2, tier 3 cities. Good governance means that when you're talking of development of a country, it is ensuring that these people in the remote villages of our country, in the remote coastal districts and the hilly districts of our country, their voice is also heard and they are equal participants in the growth journey that any country embarks. And therefore, when rules are made and policies are made and they are implemented, are these policies uniformly enabling the participation of the various groups, the diverse groups? Are they inclusive in nature? This becomes a very important factor to ensure in good governance. The second is the rule of law. We need to ensure that good governance is enabling the rule of law, because the rule of law is what people have recourse to when they are not met or they are not able to meet the basic rights that they are entitled to. And therefore, the justice systems and the law systems that are prevalent across the country in every district and in every one of the 650 communities, villages that we are talking about, has an ability to be represented and to be implemented in the right manner. The third thing we talk about good governance is transparency. If you do not ensure transparency in your policies, communication of the same, the enablement of the implementation of the same, and the current status of the implementation across the different parts of the country and for different representations of the country, you are failing in your job of good governance. So how can we use technology, for example, and how do we use data-driven decision-making rather than just decisions which are instinctive, popular, or a gut feeling? That is where data management, data enablement, data collection, dashboards, real-time dashboards that the Niti Aayog has been advocating, all of these acquire tremendous significance. And also technologies like artificial intelligence, which is able to now process these large amounts of data and identify gaps and identify the hotspots of lack of implementation of a particular policy or the administration of the same, is very, very important. And therefore, good governance starts and should start leveraging technology to ensure that transparency is achieved. The fourth thing about this good governance is responsiveness. How do we ensure adequate response and speedy response within a timely manner to address the problems and the challenges that maybe the young innovator faces in a startup world, maybe the farmer faces in one of the remote districts, maybe the persons who are deprived of affordable housing or clean drinking water or sanitation. How do we become more and more responsive to their needs? And how do we implement major schemes across the country in a very responsive manner? The initiation of a scheme, the completion of a scheme, and the execution of a scheme should happen rapidly with great sense of responsiveness and sensitivity to the needs of the people who are in need of that particular scheme. So therefore, once again, good governance is all about ensuring great responsiveness. The next is good governance ensures consensus orientation. Consensus orientation happens when you are leveraging today technology to be able to assess the moods, the needs, the different voices of various beneficiaries of various schemes that the government intends to roll out to. And therefore, this consensus orientation, which can happen at a village level, get aggregated across at a district level, and then get assimilated at a state level, and finally arrive at necessary policies and decision making at the central level, it becomes very important for us to be able to use communication technologies, computing technologies, data processing technologies, portals, and so on, to be able to capture this consensus related driven information and be able to act upon them. The next thing is about equity and inclusiveness. Good governance is all about ensuring that nobody is left behind. The differently abled people, for example, the Divyangjan, the people in the remote districts and the coastal districts of our country, do they get adequate opportunity to be able to establish a good life, quality of life, as well as be able to improve their lives and livelihoods? Are we creating jobs? Are we creating a nation of job creators? Are we ensuring that the demographic dividend that we talk about, which is the envy of many a country, where more than 65% of our country is under 35 years old, are they getting the right opportunities to get education and to be able to learn in a job-enabling manner so that they are not just becoming job seekers, but they also have the ability to become innovators of the future and the job creators of the future? If we are a country of 1.3 billion people and we have more than 150 million young students who are entering into the workplace, and they are both girl children as well as the boy children, are we ensuring that all of them are getting an equal opportunity and are being empowered to create the nation of the future? The next thing is about effectiveness and efficiency. Effectiveness of a policy and the implementation of the policy needs to be monitored if you want to have good governance. And the efficiency with which you are able to implement any of the policies and the schemes and are able to roll out the benefits to the common man, just like the JAM Trinity has done in enabling billions of accounts to be created in a very short period of time, billions of mobile phone users who are now able to leverage that for various applications and various purposes, and a billion IDs, which has enabled you to be able to identify people and be able to roll out very specifically benefits to them in the form of applications from various sources, whether it is banks, financial services, insurance, medical help, or education, and so on. And finally, good governance is all about accountability. You have to ensure that accountability is ensured. Now, if accountability has to be ensured, it can only happen with measurement, because what you cannot measure, you cannot improve. And in order to measure, you have to collect data, and you have to have very good data processing systems and data and technology-driven systems to be able to ensure that the monitoring and the measurement of progress is done according to plan, and that you are able to effectively enable accountability at every level, whether it is at the private sector level, whether it is at the NGO level, whether it is at the civil society level, whether it is at a state level, or whether it is at a central level. Finally, e-governance, as the world moves towards to, will define the next wave of easy governance, efficient governance, and economic governance. As we move into a tech-driven world where technologies like 3D printing, robotics, IoT, sensor technologies, data processing systems, big data analytics, and all of these start making a play, it is possible to have world-class governance systems at every level. And we should indeed aspire for that, because as the great Jamshed Tata said, in a free enterprise, the community is not just another stakeholder in business, but it is in fact the very purpose of its existence. We owe it to the people to have good governance. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to share a few words on this particular occasion.
Thank you, Ramananji, for your valuable words. You have rightly expressed the importance of social media and cyber securities, in inclusiveness in the policies, rule of law, transparency, consensus-oriented approach, equity and inclusiveness, effectiveness and efficiency, and finally e-governance and its importance in EG and effective governance. So we are very much thankful to you for such a detailed discussion on this topic. Now I would like to call Dr. Sujit Kumar Vajpayee. He is Joint Secretary of Government of India, and the detailed introduction will be given by Abhishek Rawat.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. It's my immense pleasure to introduce Dr. Sujit Kumar Vajpayee to share his thoughts on good governance and public policy for self-reliant India. Dr. Sujit Kumar Vajpayee, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Government of India, is a PhD from JNU in Environmental Science, joined National Hydroelectric Power Corporation as an Environment Officer in 2001 and then promoted up to the rank of Deputy General Manager in 2018. He then joined the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change as a Joint Secretary in 2019. He has 19 years of rich experience in environment and forest related issues and has been instrumental in drafting different policy for NHPC and Ministry of EFNCC. Sir, having you as a speaker today is our privilege and we are looking forward to your session. Thank you.
Yeah, distinguished speakers on the panel, faculty members of JNU from different centers, alumni of this great institution, JNU, students, ladies and gentlemen, namaskar and good evening to you all. At the outset, I want to compliment the organizers of this webinar of good governance and public policy for Self-Reliant India, organizers like Atal Bihari Vajpayee School of Management and Entrepreneurship, Alumni Association of JNU, GRC India, BRICS-CCI, and Mahatma Gandhi Central University, Bihar. I really compliment from bottom of my heart because the occasion is such, and you have organized this webinar on such an important theme. Because this occasion, as we have, my previous speakers have talked about, the Good Governance Day, birth anniversary of not one, but two Bharat Ratnas. So, and former Prime Minister, who can forget the former Prime Minister, Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji and his contribution to this great nation. And who can also forget the contribution of Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya, the Indian scholar who was educational reformer and politician, notable for his role in the Indian independence movement, 4 times president of Indian National Congress. So we are really, it's really exciting for me to join this teamed group of speakers and the alumni and students. See, all words in this topic which we have chosen today for the webinar, they all bear equal importance. If you talk about good in itself is such a wonderful word, good. Good governance, then for the public and the policy. And what all of them you combine to achieve the goal we have set out to as for self-reliant India. And the most important part is India. So the cause is India, and all words, they all marry together to achieve that concept of India. So as we all know that this Good Governance Day is observed to create awareness of accountability and government among the citizens of India every year. So the basic aim is to let the citizens, the students, who are the future of the country, to know about the government's responsibilities and duties that it needs to fulfill. And what an occasion what better occasion could it be to connect with the students of the JNU. So I would just like to touch upon my previous speakers. Shri Ramanan has very elaborately explained about what a government is supposed to do, what is a good governance is. So I'll just be a little brief on that. So government basically it refers to, as we all know, that machinery and institutional arrangement of exercising the sovereign power for serving the community. And whereas the governance means the process as well as the result of making those kind of authoritative decisions which will be beneficial for the society. So in other words, we can define it as the process of decision making and the process by which decisions are implemented. So it can be seen as a part of the complex matrix of relationship between the political and administrative structure and the society in the process of whole decision making, implementation and accountability. So almost, if you see all major developmental institutions today, they say that promoting good governance is an important part of their agenda. There is a very famous quote by former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan. He said that good governance is perhaps the single most important factor in eradicating poverty and promoting development. So this becomes so very important in the context of the huge country with large population. But despite this consensus, the subject itself, the good governance, is an extremely elusive objective. It means different things to different organizations, not to mention to different actors within these organizations. Working use, if I talk about the working use of the term good governance, that may include a variety of generally good things. But these good things do not necessarily fit together in any meaningful way. So now the question is how to improve governance, and it is most pressing from the point of view, the policy perspective. So as our previous speaker said that there are 8 or 9 factors of good governance, including those participation, the rule of law, transparency, responsiveness, consensus-oriented, equity and inclusiveness, effectiveness and efficiency and accountability. But the ultimate aim of the good governance should be that it must ensure that the public policies have their desired effect. As somebody else also said, it could be good for somebody, it could be bad for somebody, but they should have its desired effect. But then what is the public policy? Unless we understand that, then we cannot marry both of them. So public policy, Robert I. Stone, he termed public policy as the relationship of government unit to its environment. And another Thomas R. Dye says that public policy is whatever government chooses to do or not to do. So it's not a decision, it's basically a course of pattern of activity. So from these definitions, it is clear that public policies are governmental decisions and are actually the result of activities which the government undertakes in pursuance of certain goals and objectives. It can also be said that public policy formulation and implementation involves a well-planned patterns or a course of activities. So there are following, what emerges from this, that public policy is basically the outcome of the government's collective actions. What the government actually desires or decides or chooses to do. So now when we marry this both concept of good governance and public policy, then we'll be able to achieve what we want to. So for that, for me, from my small experience in bureaucracy, I can say that there has to be a strong behavioral and attitudinal component while dealing with your stakeholders. We must be committed to serve the people, inculcate a work culture and spirit of efficiency and excellence. Delivery of timely services should be another component in whole scheme of good governance. The reformed system should provide effective ways of prompt decision making, quick disposal and avoidance of delays, misuse of discretion and attendant corruption. And as Sri Namanan just said, there should be full use of all kinds of new and emerging technologies for much more efficient governance, which will definitely lead to empowerment of individual and the nation, leading to self-reliant India. And that is why government has been exploring the use of technology in every aspect of governance. And each day we have seen during these difficult times of pandemic, whether it is use of Arogya Setu, use of IT in ensuring the delivery of services in spite of all lockdown situations in fair and transparent manner. So when we talk about this difficult times and experiences learned from it, we need to understand that to achieve the goal of self-reliant India, we need best of everything. Whether quality and scale of manufacturing or the quality of environment we are living in, everything has to be best. environment, as Speaker, our judicial member from NGT said, the right to life. Environment should not be considered any longer as a sort of face saver, that environment conservation is important, sustainable development is important. No, environment is in itself a development. Good environment in itself is a development. We need to change the discourse. We cannot say that we need to have development, but we need to have environment also. We need to have environment, but we need to have development also. No, development, we must have development, and environment is a component of development. So we need to have environment as a component of development, not as a face saver. That is what I wanted to say. So empowering, I'll just end with one famous quote of Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, that empowering the individual means empowering the nation, and empowerment is best served through rapid economic growth with rapid social change. So to sum up, an honest policy, honest public policy, and efficient yet good governance are the primary tools if we are to realize the Gandhi's greatest words to wipe out every tear from every man's eye. That's all from my side. Thank you all. Thank you, organizers.
Thank you, Dr. Sujit, for beautifully explaining the relationship between good governance and the public policies. And it's dependent on the behavioral, attitudinal approach and its effective implementation. You have broadly expressed the views on the topic. And now I would like to call upon Professor Sanjeev Sharma, who has been my senior colleague in CCS University and have been the executive member of this Jawaharlal Nehru University. Detailed introduction of Professor Sharma will be given by Amit Verma. So Amit.
Thank you for the opportunity, sir. Professor Sanjeev Kumar Sharma is the Vice Chancellor of Mahatma Gandhi Central University, Motihari, Bihar. Presently, General Secretary and Treasurer, Indian Political Science Association. He has been the editor of the Indian Journal of Political Science for more than 9 years. Formerly, he associated with Chaudhary Charan Singh University, Meerut, as a professor and head of the Department of Political Science. Dr. Sharma has a throughout first-class career, has been a National Merit Scholarship holder. He has been teaching political science for more than 34 years now, and supervised 17 PhD, 64 MPhil, and more than 30 postdoctoral fellowship. He has published 68 research papers, 16 reviews, 41 articles, 19 edited or authored book and monograph. The list is long and we can't include all. We are highly delighted to have you between us, sir. Please share your thoughts with us.
धन्यवाद इस परिचय के लिए, धन्यवाद इस कार्यक्रम में बुलाने के लिए, धन्यवाद। मेरी आवाज राजीव जी ठीक आ रही है?
जी बढ़िया आ रही है सर।
ठीक है। महात्मा गांधी की भारत की पहली कर्मभूमि चंपारण से आप सबको प्रणाम करता हूं। धीरज जी, राजेश जी, राजीव जी, भाई उन्नत पंडित जी और इस कार्यक्रम से जुड़े हुए सभी मुझसे पहले और बाद के वक्ताओं को, राणा पीवी सिंह मेरे बहुत पुराने मित्र, सबको, और जो भी इस कार्यक्रम में श्रोता दर्शक जुड़े हुए हैं सबको आज अभिनंदन करता हूं। आज का दिन बड़ा पवित्र है कई कारणों से। आज महामना मदन मोहन मालवीय की जन्मतिथि है, जो आधुनिक भारत के शिक्षा के क्षेत्र के सर्वश्रेष्ठ निर्माताओं में से गिने जाते हैं। दूसरा, आज पंडित अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी की जन्मतिथि है, जो सुशासन दिवस, जिनके जन्म दिवस को हम मनाते हैं। आज गीता जयंती भी है, और एक प्रकार से ये मानकर चलें कि जब सुशासन की बात हो रही थी, मैं तो राजनीति विज्ञान और लोक प्रशासन का विद्यार्थी हूं, और आज मुझसे पहले कई लोक प्रशासकों को मैंने सुना। हमारे आदित्य जी ने बड़े विनम्रता पूर्वक कहा कि पब्लिक सर्वेंट्स हैं, मैं उनको प्रणाम करता हूं ये कहने के लिए। हमारे लोक प्रशासक अधिक होते हैं, सर्वेंट तो शायद ही कभी होते हैं इस देश में। फिर भी लोक प्रशासन की दृष्टि से मैं जहां बैठा हुआ हूं बिहार में, वहां से बात प्रारंभ करता हूं। इसलिए मैंने गीता जयंती का उल्लेख किया कि भारत के आधुनिक लोकतंत्र में और तकनीकी रूप से, प्रशासनिक रूप से नए संवैधानिक अधिकरण के अपनाने के बाद से जब हम भारत को देख रहे हैं, उस भारत में विकास के प्रतिमान जो हमने बनाए हुए हैं, जिनकी ओर उल्लेख पंत जी से लेकर और सब मित्रों ने किया है कि हम विकास की ओर जाना चाहते हैं, उस विकास के प्रतिमान की मूल अवधारणा में त्रुटि है। और वो त्रुटि ये है कि वो केवल आर्थिक विकास और ऐश्वर्य समृद्धि को विकास मानती है, इससे आगे नहीं जाती। और जब मैंने गीता जयंती का उल्लेख किया तो ये सोच समझकर इसलिए किया कि भारत में विकास या प्रशासन भारतीय दृष्टि से भारत की पारंपरिक सांस्कृतिक एकता, ऐतिहासिक ज्ञान संपदा की दृष्टि से न संवैधानिक मूल्यों में समाहित हुआ, न हमारे लोक प्रशासकों के कार्य व्यवहार में समाहित हुआ, और न ही संयोग से या योगायोग से दुर्योग से हमारी राजनीतिक कार्यपालिका के शब्दावली में सम्मिलित हो सका। वह सांकेतिक रूप से कहीं कहीं अवश्य आता है। इसका दुष्परिणाम यह है कि भारत की समस्याओं के समाधान हम प्रशासन की दृष्टि से भी बाहर खोजने के लिए बाध्य हो गए हैं। और यह समझने के लिए आप ये जरूर समझिए, जब हम विधि का शासन का, एक मित्र ने कहा था कि रूल ऑफ लॉ की बात में करनी चाहिए, जब हम आत्मनिर्भर भारत की बात कर रहे हैं, ये वाजपेयी जी ने बहुत अच्छी बात कही अभी मुझसे पहले कि सारे शब्द बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। मुझे लगता है आत्मनिर्भर भारत, लोक प्रशासन, लोक नीति, सुशासन, इन सब शब्दों का जब संयोग करना चाहें तो जैसे ही इनका भारतीय अनुवाद करना प्रारंभ करेंगे आप, तो भारत की दृष्टि कुछ और बताएगी। और यदि भारत की दृष्टि कुछ और बताएगी तो हमें भारत की समस्याओं के समाधान भारत की मिट्टी में मिलने प्रारंभ हो जाएंगे, पहली बात। दूसरी बात, हमारी लोक नीति के नियंताओं को भी उन नियंताओं के मंतव्यों के अनुरूप क्रियान्वयन का दायित्व का संवहन करने वालों को भी, और जिन पर वो नीति पहुंच रही है वहां तक बीच की सारी कड़ियों को संवेदनशील बनाने की भी आवश्यकता है। ये तकनीकी प्रयोग और हम प्रौद्योगिकी के उपयोग, ये सब तो स्वाभाविक रूप से आ जाएंगे। कोरोना काल ने ऐसा तकनीक का उपयोग सबको सिखा दिया। हम विश्वविद्यालयों में बैठे हुए हैं, 80 साल के 85 साल के हमारे रिटायर्ड प्रोफेसर भी जो मोबाइल का उपयोग केवल हलो करने के लिए करते थे, अब वेबिनार में भाषण देने के लिए भी कर ले रहे हैं। तकनीक को ऐसी चीज नहीं होती है वो धीरे से सबको आ जाती है। तकनीक साध्य नहीं है, माध्यम मात्र है। इसलिए मानकर चलिए प्रौद्योगिकी या तकनीक को हम लक्ष्य ना बना बैठे, ये मान लें कि वो मनुष्य तक शीघ्र गति से पहुंचने का माध्यम मात्र है, लेकिन उद्देश्य मनुष्य तक पहुंचना, नागरिक तक पहुंचना, समाजों तक पहुंचना ही होना चाहिए। ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि इस लोक नीति के निर्माण या लोक नीति के क्रियान्वयन के लिए हम केवल यही मान लें कि प्रौद्योगिकी महत्वपूर्ण है। एक बात। दूसरी बात, तीसरी बात मैं कहना चाहता हूं, हमारे जो लोक प्रशासक हैं, बहुत विनम्रता के साथ कहूंगा, उनका भारतीयकरण होना शेष है अभी 70 साल में। उनकी मानसिकताओं में, उनकी कार्यप्रणाली में जो पाश्चात्य प्रतिमान ठूंस दिए गए हैं और उन्होंने व्यवहार में ले आए हैं, उनका भारतीयकरण होना शेष हो गया है। तो अभी हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी ने इस बार कहा तो है कि वे प्रारंभ करेंगे इस कार्यपालिका में, और हमारे लोक सेवकों के बारे में भी, लोक सेवा के बारे में भी कुछ रिफॉर्म प्रारंभ करेंगे। लेकिन पिछले अनेक वर्षों से हमने अनेक क्षेत्रों में, विज्ञान के क्षेत्र में, व्यापार के क्षेत्र में, अब कृषि के क्षेत्र में, शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में बहुत सारे सुधार के आयोजन किए हैं। अभी लोक सेवा के क्षेत्र में भी एक सुधार की योजना चलाई जानी आवश्यक है, ऐसा मुझे लगता है। चौथी बात, हमारी सामान्यतः है लोक नीति के क्रियान्वयन में लेकर, जैसा भी 3 भाग आदित्य जी ने कहे थे, लोक नीति के निर्माण, लोक नीति के क्रियान्वयन और विभिन्न प्रकार की शिकायतों समस्याओं के निवारण, इन तीनों में ही विशेषज्ञों का योगदान, विशेषज्ञों का अवदान न्यूनतम है, सामान्यज्ञों का अवदान अधिकतम है। उसका परिणाम है कि समस्याएं जो उनकी हमने कल्पना ही नहीं की होती, अनुमान नहीं किया होता, आकलन नहीं किया होता, लेकिन स्वाभाविक हैं। यदि भारत को उस दृष्टि से देखेंगे तो बड़ी स्वाभाविक सी हैं, वो हमें अचानक बड़ी समस्याएं लगती हैं। इसलिए विशेषज्ञों के योगदान को बढ़ाए जाने की आवश्यकता है। मुझे इस बात का बहुत सुख नहीं है कि हमारे वर्तमान प्रधानमंत्री की सरकार ने प्रारंभिक वर्षों में प्रधानमंत्री जी ने, जब वो प्रधानमंत्री नहीं बने थे, तब भी लेटरल एंट्री की बात कही थी, और बहुत प्रयास करने के बाद भी 6.5 साल में कुल 6 ज्वाइंट सेक्रेटरी हमने सुना है वे नियुक्त हो पाए भारत सरकार में। भारत के और राज्यों में तो हो ही नहीं पाए। ये लेटरल एंट्री भी लोक नीति के क्रियान्वयन और उसके शंकाओं के, समस्याओं के समाधान में बहुत सहायक होगी, ये भी समझने की बात है। नेक्स्ट बात, मुझे इस बात की प्रसन्नता है, उन्नत पंडित जी पहले से सबसे जुड़े हुए हैं, वो मेरे मित्र हैं, और राजीव जी, इन सब ने आज विभिन्न क्षेत्रों के विशेषज्ञों को, लोक प्रशासन के क्षेत्र विशेषज्ञों को भी विश्वविद्यालय की व्यवस्था के कार्यक्रम में जोड़ा, और संयोग से मैं भी आज इनमें सह आयोजक हूं इस कार्यक्रम का। ये मेरे लिए प्रसन्नता का विषय है। लेकिन मैं कहूंगा अधिक से अधिक सुदूरस्थ विश्वविद्यालयों में भारत बहुत दूर दूर तक बसता है, भारत बहुत विस्तृत है, बहुत वैविध्यपूर्ण है, बड़ी अजीब सी स्थितियों में बहुत सारे संस्थान चलते हैं। उनको जानने के लिए सुदूरस्थ संस्थानों में, सुदूरस्थ विश्वविद्यालयों में हमारे लोक प्रशासकों को, हमारे न्यायविदों को, इन सबको भी पहुंचना आवश्यक है, और वो जानें, वे समझें, वे देखें और वे बूझें कि क्या भारत कहाँ कैसा है। इसलिए मुझे अगले की एक पंक्ति हमेशा याद आती है, इन्हीं तृणफूस छप्पर के ढके ढुलमुल गंवारू झोपड़ों में ही हमारा देश बसता है, इन्हीं के ढोल मादल बांसुरी के बिहकते सुर में हमारी सभ्यता का रस बरसता है, और इन्हीं में लहरती अल्लड़ अयानी संस्कृति की दुर्दशा पर सभ्यता का भूत फंसता है, और इन्हीं के मर्म को अनजान शहरों की ढकी लोलु विषैली वासना का सर्प डसता है। इसलिए मित्रों, मैं बहुत विनम्रता से कहना चाहता हूं, भारत को समझने के लिए, भारत की लोक नीति, भारत के प्रशासन, भारत के शासन, भारत की आत्मनिर्भरता को समझने के लिए भारत के निर्णयकारी व्यक्तियों को भीतर भारत तक जाना होगा। भारत को आमंत्रित मत कीजिए, आप स्वयं भारत तक पहुंचिए, भारत के वैविध्य को प्रणाम कीजिए, उसका उल्लास बनाइए, उसको उत्सव के रूप में समझिए, और ये मानिए कि भारत का आम नागरिक परंपरा से, सहस्रों वर्षों से विधि का पालन करता है। पश्चिम का एक विचारक हुआ हॉब्स, उसने एक प्रश्न किया, हम राज्य की आज्ञा का पालन क्यों करते हैं? हम ऐसे नहीं थे, हमने कभी ये प्रश्न नहीं किया। आज गीता जयंती है, उन्हें एक बार कहता हूं, हमारे प्रशासकों को गीता से, महाभारत से, रामायण से, इन प्राचीन भारतीय ग्रंथों से भी बहुत कुछ सीखने की आवश्यकता है, जिससे ये समझा जा सके कि भारत कैसे परिवर्तित होगा। पंडित मदन मोहन मालवीय और अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी, जिनके नाम पर आपका स्कूल स्थापित है, संयोग से इस स्कूल के नामकरण के समय मैं जवाहरलाल नेहरू विश्वविद्यालय की कार्य परिषद का सदस्य भी था, तो मुझे इस बात की प्रसन्नता है कि आपके यहाँ ये अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी के नाम पर यह स्कूल स्थापित है। ये दोनों भारत रत्न, भारतीयता के संवाहक थे, भारतीयता के प्रतिबिंब थे। तो हमारे विश्वविद्यालयों का यह दायित्व भी है कि हमारे लोक नीति निर्माताओं को, लोक नीति क्रियान्वयनकर्ताओं को और लोक नीति के संवाहकों को भारतीयता से परिचित कराएं। मुझे लगता है राजीव और उन्नत दोनों मेरे ऐसे मित्र हैं जो इस भारतीयता से परिचित कराने में सक्षम हैं, और राजेश जी और धीरज जी इनकी इसमें सहायता करेंगे, मुझे ऐसा पूर्ण विश्वास है। मैं अपने मित्र राणा पीवी सिंह से भी कहूंगा कि वो इनकी प्रशासनिक स्तर पर भी सहायता करते रहें। मुझे आपने अवसर दिया, इस कार्यक्रम से जुड़ने का सौभाग्य प्रदान किया, आप सबको प्रणाम करने का मुझे अवसर मिला। सबको नमस्कार करता हूँ।
अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी की जन्म जयंती पर आपके द्वारा धारा प्रवाह हिंदी में दिया गया, भारत को जाने, समझें और बूझें, भारतीयता की समस्याएं भारतीय मिट्टी से प्राप्त होंगी, और लोक प्रशासकों का जो जब तक भारतीयकरण नहीं होगा तब तक भारत की समस्याओं का समाधान नहीं मिलेगा। और एक बात बड़ी महत्वपूर्ण आपके वक्तव्य में निकल करके आई कि लोक नीति के निर्माण में, क्रियान्वयन में और शिकायतों के निष्पादन में विशेषज्ञों का योगदान और उनकी सहभागिता अति आवश्यक है। आप आपको साधुवाद के इस धारा प्रवाह हिंदी में आपने विषय को रखा और हम सभी को बड़ा ग्राह्य था। मैं अगले वक्ता को बुलाना आमंत्रित करूंगा और अगले वक्ता हैं श्री राजीव जैन जी, जो एडिशनल डीजी है, पीआईबी के स्पोक्समैन है मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ हाउसिंग एंड अर्बन अफेयर्स में, और उनके डिटेल इंट्रोडक्शन के लिए सुधाकर मिश्रा को मैं आमंत्रित करता हूं। सुधाकर जी।
अमित, सुधाकर जी को अगर कुछ कनेक्टिविटी में इश्यू है तो आप
No, sir, he's there. Sudhakar, can you listen us?
आप इंट्रोड्यूस कर सकते हैं।
सर मैं Sri Rajiv Jain is currently the Additional Director General of PIB and the spokesperson of Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs and Ministry of Civil Aviation. Mr. Jain has a vast experience in handling government relations, businesses, and has served the government at various levels in different ministries such as Ministry of Information Broadcasting, Ministry of Power, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Ministry of Rural Development, Ministry of Heavy Industry, Finance and Commerce. He has a very vast experience in various responsible roles and recognition positions. I'll now invite Mr. Rajiv Jain to share his thoughts on good governance and public policy. Thank you.
He was connected, but somehow due to connectivity, I think I don't see him into the...
So he's there.
Rajiv ji?
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. सबसे पहले तो मैं अपने परम मित्र डॉक्टर उन्नत पंडित जी को धन्यवाद देना चाहूंगा कि आज इतने एक महत्वपूर्ण दिन पर हमारे फॉर्मर प्राइम मिनिस्टर और राष्ट्र नेता अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी और मदन मोहन मालवीय जी, उनके जन्म दिवस पर इतना एक शानदार कार्यक्रम वेबिनार का आयोजन किया गया। It is my proud privilege to be associated with JNU on this day. JNU जैसे हम मालूम है कि एक बहुत ही इसका इतिहास है और इसमें जो इसकी रैंकिंग है पूरे वर्ल्ड में, सबको मालूम है कि किसकी रैंकिंग कहाँ पे आज अवेलेबल है, कहाँ पे इसके मौजूद है। उसके संदर्भ में इस कार्यक्रम का आयोजन करना सभी लोग बधाई के पात्र आप लोग हैं। जिस तरह टॉपिक आज का है गुड गवर्नेंस, बेसिकली गुड गवर्नेंस और पब्लिक पॉलिसी। सबसे पहली बात तो मैं ये शेयर करना चाहूंगा कि आज के दिन हमारे मंत्रालय ने, हाउसिंग और अर्बन अफेयर्स मिनिस्ट्री ने गुड गवर्नेंस के तौर पे एक शानदार वेबसाइट का उद्घाटन किया है। अभी से कुछ 1 घंटे पहले ही हमने कार्यक्रम खत्म किया अपना। इसका नाम है ई संपदा। जब हम बात करते हैं पब्लिक पॉलिसी, अकाउंटेबिलिटी और ट्रांसपेरेंसी की, तो सबसे बड़ी बात ये होती है कि हमारे देश में एक हम सभी चाहते हैं कि करप्शन फ्री एटमॉस्फेयर रहे, ट्रांसपेरेंसी रहे, और जो कि प्रेजेंट जो हमारे 6.5 साल की हमारी उपलब्धियां हैं पिछले, उसमें हर एक हमारा स्टेप जो देखा गया सरकार का, उसमें एक अकाउंटेबिलिटी, ईज ऑफ लिविंग बहुत बड़ा एक हमारा एक चैलेंज है जो उसको हमने अच्छी तरह से पूरा किया है। तो today's inauguration of e-Sampada, I will just give you a 2 minutes introduction of what exactly it is. आप सभी लोगों को मालूम होगा 5 अशोका रोड, हॉलिडे होम्स, गवर्नमेंट एकोमोडेशन, अब तक हमारे पास में करीब 4 वेबसाइट्स और 2 मोबाइल ऐप थी, जिसमें कि लोग न सिर्फ गवर्नमेंट ऑफिसर्स, even private individuals could go for all their requirements at different websites and platforms. Today they have all been integrated into one single platform. जिस काम को करने में पहले आपको कम से कम 45 मिनट लगते थे, फॉर्म भरने में, डीई फॉर्म भरने में, 5 अशोक रोड की बुकिंग करने के लिए, बुकिंग ऑफ विज्ञान भवन, बुकिंग ऑफ हॉलिडे होम्स इन द एंटायर कंट्री, government accommodations, it has been all beautifully integrated into a seamless, user-friendly public interface which is unparalleled, developed by NIC It is a global website. If you have time today or sometime, please go to eSampada website. You will be amazed how public policy can change, how public policy can really influence our way of our ease of living and benefit our beneficiaries. Public policy, as we know, हमारा ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है? ऑब्जेक्टिव इज टू मेक लाइफ इजियर फॉर स्टेक होल्डर्स. जो भी सरकार के डिपार्टमेंट्स हैं, हम पहले सुनने में आते थे कि हमने ये काम किया, इतने खर्चा किया, इतने का हमने ये उपलब्धियां करी. But today the focus is on how my scheme has benefited the common man, how a government scheme is actually making life easier for the common man and the people. From that perspective, the ministries I am dealing with primarily have focused entirely on ease of living. One of the schemes, if you have heard about, I would mention about PM Swanidhi Yojana. During COVID-19 times, our street vendors, hawkers, lakhs of them, they lost their livelihood because of lack of opportunities, lack of business. प्रधानमंत्री हमारे मोदी जी ने एक स्कीम लॉन्च की जिसमें कि 10,000 रुपए तक का कोलेटरल फ्री लोन देश के जो स्ट्रीट वेंडर्स हैं उनको देने का लक्ष्य किया. 50 लाख लोगों का टारगेट हमने तय किया. 31 मार्च 2021 तक को हमें खत्म करना है इसको. और खुशी की बात यह है कि अब तक हमारे करीब 5-6 महीने भी नहीं हुए. We started the plan, but the scheme in June this year. We have received so far more than 31 lakh applications and around 17 lakhs have been sanctioned. And उसमें से भी करीब 12 लाख से ऊपर लोन डिस्बर्स हो चुके हैं. मतलब मैंने अपने पब्लिक लाइफ में 30 साल की अपनी नौकरी मेरी जो है पब्लिक लाइफ में इस तरह का implementation, it was unparalleled. I have never seen such kind of real-time implementation which is happening through a mobile app, online applications, and seamless. So this is a real major public policy reform, I would say, which is making life easier for the common man. उसके अलावा हमारे पास एक स्मार्ट सिटी मिशन है जो सुना होगा आपने. Why I am saying all these things? Because I believe public policy has to benefit and touch the lives of a common man. We had a challenge of choosing smart cities. 100 smart cities were chosen. Smart cities means basically an improved way or better way of utilizing our resources. It is not an automatic button, you switch on a button and the city becomes smart. No, it is simply to manage our resources smartly, efficiently, so that they can make lives easier and smartify and use technology. In 100 smart cities, as of now, more than 53 integrated control and command centers are actually operational. During COVID times, we have seen how smart cities of Agra and Bangalore, they've utilized the infrastructure given in the control and command centers to benefit the people. We had gone to Surat last year, and we actually were shown by the Surat Municipal Commissioner how they were able to control the crime because of these control and command centers. They were able to catch the crime against women, people who committed crime against women and children in real time because of this facility of these control centers. In control center of command center of Bhopal, Indore, I myself have seen how in real time 13 to 14 civic services are given to people without in the real time, without even they're going to the offices. So that is, and then we are developing smart roads, bicycle tracks. We have seen in Visakhapatnam, I had a chance to visit earlier this year before the pandemic began. They have come out with a floating solar panel on a river, which is unparalleled. Without wasting any public space, they're able to generate the entire electricity requirements of the Visakhapatnam Municipal Corporation. So these are the benefits of our public policy and how we are going to the people. We have a scheme, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban. In that, the target was to sanction 1.12 crore houses in a 5-year tenure. Sorry. So far, you'll be glad to know this is one of the fastest growing urban schemes in the country. Within a span of 2015 onwards, we have already sanctioned 1.07 crore houses, and about 32 lakh houses have been constructed and handed over. And all these houses are geotagged beneficiaries are identified. The title of the house is in the name of the women of the house, and all this is happening online. So again, this is an example of how a public policy, if implemented properly, can really benefit the people. We have
Rajiv ji.
Sir, I think there is some issue with the connectivity.
Okay. So
I actually Googled toilets, and it related to me a main road toilet washroom which was lit and clean, speak and spankly, very well maintained. So when we travel with our ladies, we all over the country in highways, we are able to say with proud feeling that Swachh Bharat Mission Urban is a grand success. More than 65 lakh toilets have been made. They are made, maintained with water, soap, and all the facilities. Again, an example of a public policy which is directly impacting the common man in the country. There was a time 6-7 years back, I had to travel by road from Bhopal to Jabalpur. On the entire highway, I could not find a toilet. So these are all the examples how the life has changed, and it is changing for the better. So again, there are so many urban programs which are happening in the country. I will not devote full time to all of them, but today I will restrict myself to the main thought that how public policy has to keep on continuously evolve and keep in mind the stakeholder, that is the common man and our countryman, for whose benefits the program are initiated and implemented. Thank you so much, Dr. Unnat, for inviting me here. I will sum up my thoughts here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Jain, for giving the recent examples and testimonials of good governance. Presently, the current central government and the few state governments are implementing. You have rightly explained and described the implication of the current various schemes of the government in good in implementing the good governance. So right now, I would like to invite Sri Nakul Parasarji. And Nakul Parasarji is the director of Vigyan Prasar. I would like to call Abhishek V. Singh to have a detailed introduction of the next speaker, please.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce Dr. Nakul Parashar, Director of Vigyan Prasar. Sir has done his graduation and post-graduation from prestigious Jamia Millia Islamia and completed his PhD in Applied Science from Delhi College of Engineering, now known as Delhi Technological University. Apart from that, he has done computer science from IETE and PGDBA in operations from Symbiosis International University. He has been an editor with multiple publications such as Thomson Press and Macmillan Publishing Solutions, where he was also the vice president during his tenure. He was also senior VP in Excella Technologies. Apart from that, he also worked with CISR, and as well as he was also lecturer in Delhi College of Engineering. In his tenure at Vigyan Prasar, he was instrumental in launching various language programs such as Urdu, Kannada and Tamil, and as well as in launching of India's national science OTT channel, India Science, and science and technology news agency Vigyan Samachar. He is also an entrepreneur with 4 successful startups in areas of enterprise content management. It is an absolute honor to have Dr. Parashar on this occasion. Over to you, sir.
नमस्कार सभी महानुभावों का जिन्होंने अब तक अपना व्याख्यान दिया और इसके बाद जो व्याख्यान देंगे, और जितने सब लोग यहाँ पे जुड़े हैं आज इस विषय पे चर्चा करने के लिए, उन सबको मेरा नमस्कार, मेरा अभिवादन और मेरा बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद कि आप लोगों ने मुझे ये मौका दिया कि मैं अपनी बात आपके साथ साझा कर सकूं। गुड गवर्नेंस और पब्लिक पॉलिसी विषय पे आज से बढ़िया और दिन नहीं हो सकता था। इससे पहले तो सबसे पहले आप सबको सुशासन दिवस की हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं। आज का दिवस हम सब जानते हैं कि आज के दिवस बहुत सारी घटनाएं, बहुत सारी तिथियां हैं जिसमें गीता जयंती है, जिसके अंदर हमारे पंडित मदन मोहन मालवीय जी की जन्मतिथि है, भारत रत्न श्री अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी की जन्मतिथि है। और ये वो दिन है जिसके अंदर हम सब इस बात से बहुत प्रभावित हैं कि जैसे कॉन्फ्लुएंस जिसे कहते हैं, बहुत सारे नक्षत्रों का कॉन्फ्लुएंस होता है, उस तरह से आज ये दो बड़े महान नक्षत्रों के जन्म दिवस का आज कॉन्फ्लुएंस है। बहुत पहले कक्षा 9 में मैंने एक चैप्टर पढ़ा था और वो आज तक मेरे जीवन में और हमेशा हर जगह मेरे लिए प्रेरणा का एक उदाहरण बन के रहा है। वो था महामना पंडित मदन मोहन मालवीय का वो कथन। हम सब जानते हैं कि पंडित जी ने किस तरह से बनारस हिंदू विश्वविद्यालय की स्थापना की थी। उस व्यक्ति के जेब में एक पैसा नहीं था और उसने जाके लोगों से जगह जगह जाके पैसा इकट्ठा करके उसको एकत्रित करके एक इतने बड़े संस्थान की स्थापना करी। वो प्रेरणादायक वाक्य मेरे जीवन के लिए बहुत प्रेरणा का स्रोत रहा और मैंने जब 4 स्टार्टअप स्टैब्लिश किए तो मेरे लिए वही प्रेरणा के स्रोत थे। उन्होंने ये कहा था कि देश के हर द्वार पर एक दाता खड़ा है, पर कमी उन हाथों की है जिनमें वह भेंट दे सके। हम कहते हैं पब्लिक पॉलिसी और गुड गवर्नेंस के अंदर पब्लिक के पार्टिसिपेशन की महती आवश्यकता है। ये अगर वाक्य को हम अपने साथ अभिभूत करें, अपने अंदर रखें और उसको लेके आगे चलें, तो हमारी गुड गवर्नेंस में और पब्लिक पॉलिसी के बनाने और उसके क्रियान्वयन में और तमाम शिकायतों के निष्पादन वगैरह सब में ये बहुत सहायक सिद्ध होगा। वैज्ञानिक सोच और वैज्ञानिक जो चेतना है उसको जागृत करने के लिए इस वाक्य से प्रेरित होके जब विज्ञान प्रसार का दायित्व मैंने पिछले 2 वर्ष बाद करीब 25 वर्ष विदेश में रहने के बाद जब मैं लौटा प्राइवेट सेक्टर से गवर्नमेंट में जब मैं लौटा एक तरह से लेटरल एंट्री के तौर पे, तो मैंने ये महसूस किया कि वो सारे अनुभव और वो वाक्य जो मैंने बहुत पहले अपने अंदर समाहित किया था वो बहुत काम आया। आज के विषय के अंदर इसकी प्रासंगिकता विशेषकर वैज्ञानिक चेतना की, वैज्ञानिक सोच की जागरण की जो प्रासंगिकता है वो बहुत ज़्यादा है। आर्टिकल 51AH के अंदर जनमानस के अंदर वैज्ञानिक सोच और वैज्ञानिक चेतना को जागृत करने की हमारी सबकी एक नैतिक जिम्मेदारी है। अगर हम उस सब को समझें और इसका श्रेय सिर्फ लोक सेवकों को, लोक प्रशासकों तक ना रखें, जबकि उसके अंदर जब हम आम जनमानस की भागीदारी की बात करते हैं तभी हम इस पूरे विषय को एक सकारात्मक दृष्टि दे पाएंगे और इसको हम एक ग्राउंड पे जिसे कहते हैं रियलिटी में एक प्लॉजिबल रिजल्ट के तौर पे उतार पाएंगे। पंडित अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी ने जय जवान जय किसान के साथ जय विज्ञान का नारा दिया था और उस विज्ञान एवं प्रौद्योगिकी के बारे में जिसमें आदरणीय रमनन जी ने भी चर्चा करी और हम सब ने बात करी और हमने अभी ये भी सुना कि विज्ञान एवं प्रौद्योगिकी माध्यम है, पर वो एक सशक्त माध्यम है और उसकी हम सब ने अपने जीवन के अंदर ये महती आवश्यकता महसूस करी कि किसी भी चीज को अगर आप लॉजिकली और रैशनल के साथ जोड़ेंगे तो उसको स्थापित करने में दिक्कत नहीं होगी। गवर्नेंस के अंदर और पब्लिक पॉलिसी के बनाने में और पब्लिक पॉलिसी के इम्प्लीमेंटेशन के अंदर उसकी महती आवश्यकता है। इस विषय पर मेरे से अधिक प्रबुद्ध लोगों ने अपने अपने विचार रखे, उदाहरण रखे और बहुत सारी ऐसी बात कही जिससे कि हम इस विषय को बहुत अच्छे से समझ सके और हम अलग अलग पहलुओं को जान सके। हकीकत में अगर हम ये कहें कि we are like 6 blind people touching an elephant and trying to understand whatever we are touching is correct, तभी संभव है जब हमको बाहर से लगातार उसका फीडबैक मिले। फीडबैक का गुड गवर्नेंस में और पब्लिक पॉलिसी में बहुत महत्वपूर्ण रोल है। इसलिए ये आवश्यक है कि हम आज के ज़माने में जब प्रिंट, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक, सोशल, डिजिटल मीडियम बहुत कारगर और बहुत इफेक्टिव है, उस सब का इस पूरे प्रकरण के अंदर अगर हम सहायता लेंगे तो हम अपने प्रयासों को और सार्थक और सकारात्मक बना पाएंगे। आप सब लोगों ने मुझे इस मंच पे आने का मौका दिया, अपनी बात को आपके समक्ष रखने की आपने जो अनुमति दी उसके लिए मैं तहे दिल से आपका शुक्रिया अदा करता हूं और इस कार्यक्रम की सफलता की कामना करते हुए अपनी वाणी को यहाँ विराम देना चाहूंगा। पुनः आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। आप सबको गीता जयंती की बधाई। आपको पंडित मदन मोहन मालवीय एवं वाजपेयी जी के जन्मदिन की बधाई। और सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट ये कि जो सुशासन दिवस हमने जिस तरह से इसका पूरा इकट्ठा होकर हमने जिस तरह से मनाया, अगर हम इसको और बड़े स्केल पे और लोगों तक पहुंचाना चाहते हैं तो हमें सबको ऐसे कार्यक्रमों पे और ऐसी बातों पे लगातार चर्चा करनी होगी ताकि हम एक नई थॉट और एक नए प्रोसेस को इवॉल्व कर सकें। इन सब के साथ आप सबका पुनः धन्यवाद। जय हिंद और जय भारत।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद श्री नकुल पाराशर जी। आपके द्वारा जो पब्लिक पार्टिसिपेशन और फीडबैक का महत्व बताया और उसके साथ तक हम लोग पहुंचे, जो बात संजीव जी ने भी कही थी और उसको हम लोग निश्चित तौर पर ये गुड गवर्नेंस और अटल जी के विजन को यहीं नहीं छोड़ेंगे। हम लोग इसको आगे ले जाने का जो भी प्रयास होगा उसको करेंगे अपने स्तर पर। अब मैं आमंत्रित करना चाहूंगा श्री मधुकर जी को। डॉक्टर BBL मधुकर जी is the Director General of BRICS Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and I would like to invite Vivek Chauhan to have a detailed introduction of Shri Madhukar ji.
Sir, due to connectivity issues, Vivek is facing problem. I'll take the honor of introducing Mr. BBL Madhukar ji. Dr. Madhukar is presently Director General of BRICS Chamber of Commerce and Industry at New Delhi. He is also the chairman of BRICS-CCI School of Analysis, Ford School of Management, School of Aviation Science and Technology, and is in the governing boards of New Delhi Institute of Management and Institute of Management Studies, Ghaziabad. Dr. Madhukar has been a gold medalist in both MA Economics and LLB, plus a PhD holder as also a CAAB and FIE, served as chairman cum managing director of 2 Government of India enterprises and board level director in scores of public and private sector companies. He has made a significant contribution in workshops with the United Nations. He has also received the award of Best CEO and has been an award receiver of Udyog Ratna Award for his exemplary leadership skills. I'll now invite Mr. Madhukar sir to share his thoughts with us. Thank you.
मैं आज के दिन बड़ा सौभाग्य मानता हूं कि मुझे अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी और महामना am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're perfectly audible.
Okay, all right. मैं डॉक्टर धीरज का बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूं कि उन्होंने आज मुझे ये मौका दिया। ऐसे शुभ दिन जिस दिन पंडित मदन मोहन मालवीय जी और अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी, 2 स्टारवर्ड्स जो इस देश में रहे, उनका जन्मदिन है। मैं उन सबों को अपनी तरफ से धन्यवाद करता हूं। मैं ये उनके लिए उनकी स्मृति में सोचता हूं कि ऐसे दिन को बहुत ही विशाल रूप से मनाया जाना चाहिए। ऐसे विषयों पर आज के दिन व्याख्यान हुए, लोगों ने अपने विचार दिए, जिससे बहुत कुछ ज्ञानवर्धन हम लोगों का हुआ है और बहुत कुछ नई दिशाओं में हम लोगों के जाने के लिए बहुत कुछ रास्ते बताए गए हैं। मैं उन सबों का आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। मदन मोहन मालवीय जी को मैंने तो नहीं देखा, लेकिन जो कुछ भी उनके बारे में पढ़ा और सुना, किसी को भी इतनी ज्यादा प्रेरणा उनके जीवन से मिलनी चाहिए। और मैं तो पर्सनली मैं बोल सकता हूं कि मुझे काफी प्रेरणा उनसे मिली। उनके कार्यों के बारे में, उनके व्यक्तित्व के बारे में जानकर जो हमें प्रेरणा मिली कि मैंने कई सारे जो नॉन गवर्नमेंटल ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को बोलते हैं, नॉट फॉर प्रॉफिट ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस बनाए, उनका निर्माण किया, उनको चलाया, और जो हमारे साथ जुड़े उनको मैंने ये कहा कि मुझे पंडित मदन मोहन मालवीय जी की ये बात याद पड़ती है जब वो बनारस यूनिवर्सिटी की स्थापना करने का प्रयास कर रहे थे, और लोगों के घर पे जा रहे थे, घर घर में जा रहे थे कि अगर आप अपना कुछ सहयोग करना चाहें तो करें। तो कुछ लोगों ने उनके बारे में उनसे कहा कि भाई आप इतने बड़े स्वतंत्रता सेनानी हैं, इतने बड़े व्यक्तित्व हैं, आपको अछूता नहीं देता कि आप किसी के घर में जा जाकर चंदा मांग रहे हैं। उन्होंने ये कहा था कि अगर एक पब्लिक कॉज के लिए और जनता के हित के लिए अगर कोई काम किया जा रहा है और जिससे हम समाज का भला कर सकते हैं, देश का भला कर सकते हैं, उस काम के लिए अगर मुझे चौराहे पर खड़े होकर कटोरा लेकर के भीख मांगने की आवश्यकता अगर होगी तो मैं उसको भी फक्र के साथ करूंगा, उसमें फक्र महसूस करूंगा। मुझे इस बात का गौरव है कि मैंने कुछ अपने देश के लिए करने के लिए भीख मांगा, ना तो अपना परिवार पालने के लिए भीख मांगा। तो एक बहुत बड़ी बात है, ये प्रेरणा का विषय है कि हमें सोचना चाहिए कि जब हम किसी भी ऐसे चीजों की स्थापना करते हैं जिससे देश और समाज का कल्याण हो सकता है, तो इन विषयों के ऊपर हमें यह संकोच नहीं होना चाहिए कि हमें किसी के सामने झुकना पड़ रहा है, किसी से मांगना पड़ रहा है, किसी से मदद लेनी पड़ रही है। तो एक बहुत बड़ा प्रेरणा उनसे हमको प्राप्त हुआ है। तो मैं व्यक्तिगत रूप से भी काफी ओब्लाइज्ड हूँ। आदरणीय अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी के बारे में क्या कहूँ, मुझे 2-4 अवसर मिले थे उनसे मिलने का, उनके साथ बात करने का, और मैं यही महसूस करता रहा कि ये व्यक्ति जो है वो एक्चुअली लोगों से जुड़ना चाहते हैं, जुड़ने वाला व्यक्ति है। वो लोगों को पसंद करते थे कि लोग मिले उनसे और बात करें उनसे। वो खुद से चाहते थे कि लोग जो है उनके साथ जो कभी कोई मिलने आया उनको बराबर बोलेंगे कि अगली बार फिर आना और फिर हम और भी विस्तार से बात करेंगे। तो वो ही वॉज अ रियल पीपुल्स मैन। और उन्होंने जो विज्ञान की बात करी कि हर एक को कनेक्ट करना चाहिए साइंस के साथ, तो साइंस ही एक आधार ऐसा है, और टेक्नोलॉजी का जो ग्रोथ का डेवलपमेंट वही एक आधार है जिसके बेसिस पर कोई भी कंट्री एक महान देश बन सकता है। आज अमेरिका महान है इसलिए नहीं कि कोई और भी सुविधाएं वहां उपलब्ध हैं, बल्कि टेक्नोलॉजी के माध्यम से आज अगर 10 टॉप टेक्नोलॉजी कंपनीज का नाम लिया जाएगा तो उसमें से 8 या 9 तो आपको अमेरिका की मिल जाएंगी। उसी ढंग से इजराइल का एग्जाम्पल दिया जाए, अगर आज कंट्री बहुत ही मूल्यवान है तो इसलिए है कि उनके यहाँ टेक्नोलॉजी पर काफी तवज्जो दिया गया, काफी वैल्यू दी गई। सिमिलरली आप देखिए साउथ कोरिया, हमारे इंडिया के साथ ही करीब करीब समय में ही ये इंडिपेंडेंट हुआ था, लेकिन आज उसकी रफ्तार बहुत ज्यादा रही है। टेक्नोलॉजी के माध्यम से उनकी कंपनियां बहुत जगह काम कर रही हैं। तो टेक्नोलॉजी एक ऐसी चीज है जिसकी वजह से कोई भी कंट्री रिच होता है, कोई भी कंट्री बड़ा होता है, पावरफुल होता है, चाहे वो किसी भी क्षेत्र में टेक्नोलॉजी का डेवलपमेंट हुआ हो। तो इसलिए हमें सबसे बड़ी आवश्यकता इस बात की है कि जब हमारे नए प्रधानमंत्री, हमारे नए नहीं मतलब अभी तो नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने जो अभियान चलाया है आत्मनिर्भर भारत का, उसमें सबसे ज्यादा जरूरत हमें इस बात की है कि हम टेक्नोलॉजी को प्राथमिकता दें, और इसके लिए न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी में भी इस चीज का प्रावधान किया जा रहा है कि तकनीकी विषयों को भी पढ़ाने का जो की व्यवस्था की जाए, वो भी लोगों के मातृभाषा में ही हो, जहां तक संभव है वो करने की जरूरत है। और पहले जमाने में ये होता था, हम लोग उस समय को भी याद करें जबकि इंडिपेंडेंस के पहले तक भी कई रीजनल लैंग्वेजेस में टेक्निकल विषयों को पढ़ाया जाता था, कोई कठिनाई नहीं होती थी, लेकिन हम लोगों ने उसको मूल्य नहीं दिया, उसको वैल्यू नहीं दी, और इसके कारण हमारी करीब 80% आबादी बहुत सारे सुविधाओं से वंचित रही, और हम लोग उतने ज्यादा टेक्नोलॉजी में डेवलपमेंट नहीं कर पाए। टेक्नोलॉजी डेवलप करने के लिए एक वातावरण की आवश्यकता होती है, जो टेक्नोलॉजी का डेवलपमेंट हमें करने के लिए लोगों में साइंटिफिक एग्जीबिशन, साइंस बेस्ड एग्जीबिशन को ऑर्गेनाइज करना चाहिए। हमें ऐसे चीजों को ऑर्गेनाइज करना चाहिए ताकि बच्चों में ये भावना जगे कि कैसे हम कोई चीज स्टार्टअप के रूप में अपनी कोई नई चीज कर सकते हैं, कोई इनोवेशन कर सकते हैं, कुछ नई चीज देश को, दुनिया को दे सकते हैं। जब बच्चों में ये बातें आएंगी, उनके मन में ये बात भावना आएगी, तो साइंस का, टेक्नोलॉजी का विकास होगा। जैसे कि और भी कई कंट्रीज ने बहुत सारे इस चीज का इस्तेमाल किया। ताइवान भी एक एग्जाम्पल है, अपने आप में छोटी सी कंट्री है, लेकिन फिर भी उनका डेवलपमेंट इतना ज्यादा हुआ उसकी वजह सिर्फ टेक्नोलॉजी थी। जापान जो वर्ल्ड वॉर 2 में बिल्कुल डिवास्टेटेड हुआ, उसके बाद भी, या नागासाकी हिरोशिमा के बम एक्सप्लोजन के बाद जो फिर भी वापस आ गया और काफी तरक्की की, उसका भी कारण सिर्फ टेक्नोलॉजी था। तो हमें ये ध्यान रखना चाहिए कि टेक्नोलॉजी के माध्यम से हमें देश का निर्माण करना है, और हमें कोशिश ये करनी है कि हम लोगों को जागृत करें। और सब्सिडी का जो वातावरण है, ये हर चीज में सब्सिडी वो होना चाहिए, सिर्फ कुछ क्षेत्रों में नहीं, हर एक क्षेत्र में सब्सिडी का वातावरण नहीं होना चाहिए। महात्मा गांधी ने कहा था कि हर एक चीज में हम लोग हर चीज फ्री देने की बात जो करते हैं और उसके आधार पर इलेक्शन और वोट मांगते हैं, ये एक उचित चीज नहीं है। उचित चीज ये है कि सिर्फ 3 क्षेत्रों में ही फ्री देना चाहिए गवर्नमेंट को। अगर कोई चीज फ्री देना हो तो वो देना चाहिए एजुकेशन में, हेल्थ केयर में, और जुडिशरी में, जुडिशियल डिस्पेंसर, जस्टिस को अगर हम सस्ता कर सकें, कम ज्यादा उसको हम लोगों के लिए सरल बना सकें, एजुकेशन सेक्टर को सपोर्ट दें, हेल्थ सेक्टर को सपोर्ट दें, ये ठीक रहेगा। बाकी चीजों में कभी भी सब्सिडी करके हम लोगों को एक निकम्मापन की तरफ धकेल रहे हैं। हमें कोशिश करनी चाहिए कि हमें कोई तरह की सब्सिडी न दे करके, बल्कि 3 क्षेत्रों को ये 3 क्षेत्र जो महात्मा गांधी ने कहे, उसमें हम लोग को ध्यान देना चाहिए। और हम ये कहेंगे आज के दिन जब ये आत्मनिर्भर भारत की बात हो रही है, तो इसमें बहुत जरूरत इस बात की है कि हम कृषि क्षेत्र में खासतौर पर इस तकनीकी चीजों का विकास करें, और जो नई पॉलिसी बनाई गई है कृषि क्षेत्र में भी, वो भी एक बहुत ही जरूरत वाली चीज है, और हमें उसका समर्थन करना चाहिए। मैं कोई पॉलिटिकल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, मैं सिर्फ इतना ही बोल रहा हूँ कि जब तक हर क्षेत्र को आप साइंटिफिक डेवलपमेंट से या टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ जोड़ेंगे नहीं, जब तक वो क्षेत्र कभी भी आगे विकसित नहीं हो सकता है। चाहे वो एग्रीकल्चर का क्षेत्र हो, या हेल्थ केयर का क्षेत्र हो, या और कोई भी क्षेत्र में अगर आप विकास करना चाहते हैं, तो टेक्नोलॉजी ही एक माध्यम है जिसके द्वारा आप समृद्ध हो सकते हैं, आप पावरफुल हो सकते हैं, और आप दुनिया में कोई रियल सेवा जो इसको कहते हैं, वो लोगों तक तभी पहुंच सकता है जब आप टेक्नोलॉजी का सहारा लेंगे। और इसमें जो है टेक्नोलॉजी के माध्यम के बारे में डिजिटल इंडिया का जो स्टार्ट किया गया मूवमेंट, वो बहुत ही कारगर हुआ। और ये अब आज देखिए, आज मोबाइल का लिया जाए तो मेरे ख्याल में करीब 65 करोड़ आदमी देश के अंदर मोबाइल यूज कर रहा है। तो अगर ये कम्युनिकेशन एक बहुत बड़ा माध्यम है, संवाद के माध्यम से हम लोगों की सेवा कर सकते हैं, और लोगों को समझ में आएगी कि हम क्या सेवा उनके लिए सरकार उपलब्ध करा रही है। इसकी जानकारी भी उनको तभी होगी जब उनके लिए उनको कम्युनिकेशन के माध्यम से उन तक पहुंचा जा सके। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, हमें अवसर मिला, और हम उम्मीद करते हैं कि इस पुण्य तिथि को हम लोग ज्यादा से ज्यादा बड़े स्केल पर ऑर्गेनाइज करें। धन्यवाद, नमस्कार।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद डॉक्टर BBL मधुकर जी। आज भारत रत्न और आज का जन्म जयंती जिन दोनों महान भावों की, उनके व्यक्तित्व के माध्यम से, और बाद में आत्मनिर्भर भारत, तकनीकी और सब्सिडी आदि के विषयों को छूते हुए आपने गुड गवर्नेंस एंड पब्लिक पॉलिसी पर अपना व्याख्यान और विषय रखा। अभी हम लोग थोड़ा सा जल्दी करेंगे क्योंकि समय सीमा है, और अभी हमारे अगले वक्ता जो हैं वो हैं डॉक्टर राजेश बी बिनीवाले जी। आप सीनियर प्रिंसिपल साइंटिस्ट और हेड हैं CTM डिवीजन नीरी नागपुर में। तो बिनीवाले जी को इंट्रोड्यूस करने के लिए आपसे एक रावत जी को मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा।
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. I am introducing Dr. Rajesh Biniwale to share his thought on good governance and public policy for self-reliant India. Dr. Biniwale brings a vast industrial and rich experience in various domains, including research, planning, monitoring, modeling, and implementation. He is currently working at National Environmental Engineering Research Institute, New Delhi, as senior principal researcher and having more than 25 years of experience in R&D and environmental project management. He is also a member of several committees constituted by the Ministry of Environmental, Forest and Climate Change, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Pollution Control Board, UNDP, Namami Chandrabanga, India UK DST Task Force, Sir, now I will be inviting you for your session. Thank you.
सभी महानुभावों को मेरा सादर प्रणाम। मैं काफी देर से सुन रहा हूँ और दो विषय मैं संक्षिप्त में रखना चाहूंगा जो गुड गवर्नेंस या सुशासन के अनुसार होने चाहिए, और वो विषय मेरा जैसा इंट्रोडक्शन दिया गया तो मैं दो ही सब्जेक्ट जानता हूँ, एक जानता हूँ एनवायरमेंट और दूसरा जानता हूँ R&D। तो जाहिर है कि मैं इन्हीं दो विषयों के बारे में बात करूंगा। पहला जो है पर्यावरण के हिसाब से पर्यावरण की जो हमारी पॉलिसीज है उसमें एक प्रायर एनवायरमेंटल क्लियरेंस, किसी भी प्रोजेक्ट को करने के पूर्व पर्यावरण की मंजूरी लेना एक अनिवार्य प्रक्रिया है। इस अनिवार्य प्रक्रिया को 2006 में नोटिफिकेशन दिया गया था, उस हिसाब से किया जाता है। इसमें कुछ पारदर्शिता अभी तो आई है कुछ हद तक, क्योंकि एक ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म हुआ है और जिसमें कई सारी चीजें आ गई है, लेकिन इसमें अभी भी बहुत सारे विषयों को छोड़ा गया है, बहुत सारे विषय अछूते हैं जिनमें हमें गुड गवर्नेंस लाने की आवश्यकता है। क्योंकि अगर ये हमारी पॉलिसीज अगर ठीक होती तो आज जैसे हमारे पोल्यूशन के हाल है, हम जेएनयू के फोरम पे बोल रहे हैं और जेएनयू दिल्ली में मौजूद करता है, दिल्ली में जो आज प्रदूषण की स्थिति है, क्या ये हमारा अगर गुड गवर्नेंस पर्यावरण में होता तो क्या ये संभव था? ये नहीं था और ये होना नहीं चाहिए था। तो गुड गवर्नेंस की स्थिति में अगर हम आते तो गुड गवर्नेंस एनवायरनमेंट में जब आता है तो एनवायरनमेंट में गुड गवर्नेंस का एक भारतीय दर्शन भी होना चाहिए। वो होना चाहिए भारतीय दर्शन कि हमारा मन से हम कितना ही उस पॉलिसी को, जो मेरे लिए अच्छा है वो दुनिया के लिए अच्छा है और जो दुनिया के लिए अच्छा है वो मेरे लिए अच्छा है, इस तत्व पे अगर हम चलना शुरू करेंगे तो ही ये प्रदूषण वाला जो समस्या है वो इसका निराकरण हो सकता है। मैंने केवल दिल्ली का एग्जाम्पल लिया, लेकिन ऐसे 104 नॉन अटेनमेंट सिटीज है जिनमें हवा का प्रदूषण एक मानक के ऊपर है, तथा हमें जो प्रदूषण की बाकी जानकारियां मिलती रहती हैं और जो भी हमारे सीवेज ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट्स और सीवेज अनट्रीटेड सीवेज जो हमारे नदी और तालाबों में जा रहे हैं, और नदी और तालाबों की जो गंगा का तो हम नाम सुनते हैं, गंगा के प्रोजेक्ट के बारे में सब लोग जानते हैं, लेकिन ऐसे ही हर नदी का हाल यही है। तो क्या ये हमने जो पर्यावरण का गवर्नेंस का सिस्टम बनाया था वो सही है? क्योंकि बहुत सारा मॉनिटरिंग तो मौजूद करता है, बहुत सारे मानक मौजूद करते हैं, इनके ऊपर मॉनिटरिंग करने वाली चीजें भी मौजूद करती है, इसकी पनिशमेंट भी मौजूद करती है, उसके बावजूद ये चीज नहीं हो पा रही है। तो गुड गवर्नेंस लाने के लिए और पारदर्शिता लाने के लिए पर्यावरण में एक बहुत बड़े पहल की आवश्यकता है। आज की स्थिति में जो भी है वो पर्याप्त नहीं है, ऐसे मुझे लगता है। ये मेरा अपना ओपिनियन है, लेकिन ये आवश्यक चीज है। दूसरे इस पर जब आते हैं तो दूसरा जो मैं बात करना चाहूंगा वो रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट की पॉलिसीज के बारे में है। हालांकि अभी जो न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी 2020 की जो आई है, उस 2020 की पॉलिसी में नेशनल रिसर्च फाउंडेशन की जो गठन के बारे में कहा गया है, वो एक अच्छी सुविधा निर्माण करने हेतु वो पॉलिसी आई है, जिसमें हमने ये कहा है कि जो विश्वविद्यालय हैं, कुछ विश्वविद्यालयों को छोड़ दीजिए, जेएनयू के फोरम पे बात कर रहे हैं, जेएनयू के मंच पे बात कर रहे हैं, लेकिन ऐसे कई सारे विश्वविद्यालय हैं जो जेएनयू की बराबरी भी नहीं कर पाएंगे जिसमें रिसर्च की बात करेंगे, चाहे वो हम साइंस का रिसर्च हो, विज्ञान का रिसर्च हो या समाज विज्ञान का रिसर्च हो। दोनों में हमारे बहुत सारे विश्वविद्यालय अभी किसी तरह का काम नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, किसी तरह का अपना इम्पैक्ट नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, और ये इम्पैक्ट आने के हेतु हमें वहां पे रिसर्च पॉलिसीज को भी बहुत पारदर्शिता लाने की जरूरत है। वहां पे 2-3 चीजों की आवश्यकता है। एक चीज आवश्यकता है वहां पे कि जहाँ पे डुप्लीकेसी अवॉइड हो, जहाँ पे एक जगह काम चल रहा है वैसा ही काम दूसरी जगह हो, ऐसा अवॉइड हो। और अगर डुप्लीकेसी करनी हो तो वो जानबूझ के की जाए, वो वैलिडेशन के लिए की जाए कि 2 और 3 लैब में एक जैसा काम होता है तो वैलिडेट होता है क्या? वैलिडेशन के लिए डुप्लीकेसी होती है तो वो जानबूझ के होती है तो उसका कुछ फायदा है, नहीं तो 4 जगह, 5 जगह, 10 जगह, मैं तो किसी एक प्रोजेक्ट का नाम लेके कम से कम 15 विश्वविद्यालयों के नामों की फीस दे सकता हूँ जहाँ पे यही काम हो रहा है और वो आपस में एक दूसरे से बात नहीं करते, साइलोज में काम करते हैं। यही स्थिति कुछ हद तक राष्ट्रीय प्रयोगशालाओं की भी है। राष्ट्रीय प्रयोगशालाएं आपस में बात करना, रिसर्च तो आपस में बात करना, तथा राष्ट्रीय प्रयोगशालाएं और विश्वविद्यालय आपस में बात करना एक दूसरे के साथ में डेटा साझा करना, एक दूसरे के साथ में अपने निष्कर्ष साझा करना, ये केवल एक प्लेटफॉर्म जो पब्लिकेशन का है उसके माध्यम के अलावा कहीं से भी नहीं होता है। और पब्लिकेशन में भी जो होता है वो साझा करना नहीं होता है, वो पब्लिश करके कोई दूसरा पढ़ ले तो पढ़ लेगा, नहीं तो उसको पता नहीं, मतलब साइटेशन वाला भी मामला एक आता है। तो एक दूसरे को अपना रिसर्च का निष्कर्ष का डेटा साझा करने के लिए एक प्लेटफॉर्म की आवश्यकता है, और पॉलिसी में ये सारी चीजें, हालांकि जो विश्वविद्यालयों में चलने वाला रिसर्च है उसका पुनरुत्थान करने हेतु या उसको उठाने के हेतु इस पॉलिसी में बहुत सारे प्रावधान किए गए हैं, परंतु वो भी अपर्याप्त है ऐसे मुझे लगता है। जब तक कि विश्वविद्यालय खुद होके सामने नहीं आए, खुद होके डेटा एक दूसरे के साथ शेयर नहीं करे, प्रोजेक्ट लिखते वक्त ही एक दूसरे से बात नहीं करे, तो ये बहुत आगे नहीं जा पाएगा, ये आत्मनिर्भरता की तरफ नहीं जा पाएगा। इसमें और एक समस्या का समाधान होना आवश्यक है, वो है कि विश्वविद्यालयों के साथ फैसिलिटीज की आवश्यकता होती है रिसर्च करने में, और ये फैसिलिटीज बड़े प्रयोगशाला, राष्ट्रीय प्रयोगशालाएं तथा बड़े विश्वविद्यालयों के पास होती है, या इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ एमिनेंस सच एज IITs इनके पास होती है। लेकिन ये निचले विश्वविद्यालय जिनके पास साधनों की कमी होती है उनके पास नहीं पहुंच पाती, तो ये पुलिंग ऑफ जो फैसिलिटीज है वो भी आना आवश्यक है। और मैं चाहता हूं, मतलब मैं समझता हूं कि ये टॉप डाउन अप्रोच में रिसर्च का गाइड ओरिएंटेशन होना चाहिए, मिशन मोड प्रोजेक्ट्स, जिसमें मिशन मोड प्रोजेक्ट्स के साथ में करेंगे कि एक मिशन, उसमें 200 साइंटिस्ट भारत के काम कर रहे हैं विविध क्षेत्र से आए हुए, तो मिशन पूरा होगा। इस मिशन मोड प्रोजेक्ट्स का हमने लाभ देखा है, जो इसरो में या DRDO में होते हैं उस तरह के रिसर्च में इसका हमने लाभ देखा है। तो रिसर्च का गवर्नेंस ये टॉप डाउन होना चाहिए, टॉप डाउन अप्रोच में होना चाहिए, और विश्वविद्यालयों को एक दूसरे के साथ बात करना चाहिए। एक चीज केवल और आखिरी में बोलना चाहूंगा, जो मैंने लिख के रखी थी 5 चीजें, 5 में से मैं 3 ही बोलूंगा। एक जो होते हैं, जो अभी हमारा जो आत्मनिर्भर बनने के हेतु हम स्वयं रोजगार को जो प्रोत्साहन दे रहे हैं, जो स्टार्टअप इंडिया मूवमेंट के थ्रू स्वयं रोजगार को प्रोत्साहन दे रहे हैं, और स्किल इंडिया के थ्रू भी दे रहे हैं, लेकिन मैं स्टार्टअप की तरफ ध्यान दूंगा, जहाँ पे एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप की हम बात करते हैं, जहाँ पे हम व्यावसायिक निर्माण की बात करते हैं, व्यवसाय निर्माण की बात करते हैं। तो व्यवसाय निर्माण में एक महत्वपूर्ण बात जो आती है सामने, आइडियाज तो यंग एंटरप्रेन्योर्स के साथ है, एंटरप्रेन्योर्स के पास आइडियाज है, उनके लिए इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर बनाना, ये भी काम जैसे नीति आयोग कर रहा है, या MSME की इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर्स है, या हर एक राज्यों में अपने अपने तरीके से ये स्कीम्स है। अपितु वहां पे जो एंटरप्रेन्योर आता है, जो एंटरप्रेन्योर आता है, उसके साथ में, उस व्यवसाय के साथ में जो नया आता है, उसको जो चाहिए वो 10 या 15 लाख का कोई आपका हेल्प नहीं चाहिए, उसको आपकी 10-15 लाख की जो ग्रांट मिलती है उससे उसका कुछ समाधान नहीं होने वाला है। उसको मार्केट प्लेस डेवलप करने के लिए पॉलिसी चाहिए, और ये मार्केट प्लेस डेवलप स्टार्टअप इंडिया में जो है उनके लिए मार्केट प्लेस डेवलप होना ये अत्यंत आवश्यक है। और ये मार्केट प्लेस डेवलप करने के लिए क्या हमारे पास ऐसी कोई सुविधा हो सकती है, जैसे कि चाइना ने किया था किसी जमाने में, कि आपके यहाँ आके भारत में कौन से उत्सव होते हैं, उस उत्सव में क्या सामान लगता है, इसकी एक मेथोडोलॉजी बना के, और उसका डिजाइन, ड्राइंग, उसके सैंपल्स लेके आप अपने जगह पे उसको मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का प्रोत्साहन देना, ये अपने आप में एक बहुत बड़ा चेंज लाया गया था। ये मैं केवल एक उत्सव की बात कर रहा हूँ, हम अपितु जो सामान्य मनुष्य को लगने वाली सारी संसाधनों को, जो सुबह से लेके रात को सोने तक लगने वाले संसाधनों के बारे में बात करें, और उसके ऊपर एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप डेवलप करने के लिए और उसके लिए मार्केट डेवलप करने के लिए हम एक कोई सुचारू रूप से सुविधा उपलब्ध करा दे, तो ये आत्मनिर्भर भारत बनने के लिए स्वयं रोजगार का जो स्कीम है वो बहुत अच्छे तरह से आगे चलेगा। मैं यही अपने वाणी को विराम देता हूं, क्योंकि समय की सीमा में ध्यान में रखते मैं यही वाणी को विराम देता हूं। धन्यवाद
जी। धन्यवाद श्री विनी वाले जी, आपने बहुत अच्छे तरीके से राष्ट्रीय प्रयोगशालाओं का आपस में संवाद हो, डुप्लीकेसी कम से कम हो, रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट का महत्व, और उसके साथ साथ उसके संवाद के साथ जो उसकी प्रोडक्टिविटी बढ़ेगी और उसका आउटपुट बढ़ेगा, इसको बहुत अच्छे तरीके से रेखांकित किया। पर्यावरण के महत्व को आपने रेखांकित किया और उसको गुड गवर्नेंस और पॉलिसीज में समाहित करना चाहिए, ऐसा आपने एक बेहतर हम सभी के सम्मुख रखा। और आज लगभग जितने उपलब्ध हमारे वक्ता थे उन सभी को हमने अवसर और इस बात का एक सुअवसर लेते हुए कि उनकी बातों को हम सुन पाए। और लेकिन किन्हीं कारणों से आज का जो कीनोट स्पीच हमें मिलने वाली थी श्री आदित्यनाथ दास जी की, वो कुछ समय जुड़े थे ना, शक्ति सिन्हा जी को जो हम सुनना चाहते थे वो बीच में 2-1 बार जुड़े, लेकिन जब तक हम लोग उनको इनवाइट करते फिर वो डिस्कनेक्ट हो गए और फिर अभी हम उनकी बात को नहीं सुन पाएंगे। हालांकि हम सभी चूंकि वो अटल जी के साथ सीधे तौर पे जुड़े रहे थे, उनको सुनना चाहते थे, फिर कभी किसी मौके पर उनको हम लोग जरूर सुनेंगे। ऐसे ही एक और वक्ता इनामदार जी भी कनेक्ट नहीं हो पा रहे हैं और अब समय है कि हम वैलिडिक्ट्री की ओर बढ़ें। और वैलिडिक्ट्री के लिए श्री भार्गव मित्रा जी हम सभी के बीच में हैं। और भार्गव मित्रा जी डिस्टिंग्विश्ड एल्यूमनस हैं जवाहरलाल नेहरू यूनिवर्सिटी के और इंडियन एम्बेसी और ताशकंद में वो हैं। यदि धीरज जी या महीप जी कोई और इनफॉर्मल इंट्रोडक्शन उनका अच्छे से कर सकते हैं यदि, तो मैं आमंत्रित करूंगा, क्योंकि फॉर्मली मेरे पास अभी इतनी ही चीज थी। अन्यथा मैं आमंत्रित करूंगा श्री भार्गव मित्रा जी को वैलिडिक्ट्री नोट के लिए।
Thank you so much. I hope I am audible to all of you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Bhargav ji, we can hear you.
Am I audible to you?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
I think his microphone has some error. Dheeraj ji, can you call
Am
him?
I audible to you?
Yes. Yes, we can hear you.
Bhargavda, we can hear you clearly.
Dheeraj ji, can you call him?
Bhargav, hello.
Can you call him?
Dada, please go ahead. Mahir ji, please coordinate.
Hello, everyone. I have spoken to Bhargav. He will be connecting soon.
हम लोगों ने तकनीकी के बहुत अन्य अन्य पहलुओं पर भी बात करी और गवर्नेंस में तकनीकी का बढ़ता हुआ उपयोग, लेकिन उसकी अपनी लिमिटेशंस भी हैं जो हम लोग जब तब फेस करते हैं, और उसी प्रकार की एक भी परिस्थिति हमारे सम्मुख उपस्थित हुई है।
जब तक भार्गव जी जुड़ते हैं तब तक कुछ बातें आज के इस कार्यक्रम की हम दोहराते हैं। बहुत ही सटीक रूप से आज सभी व्याख्याओं ने समय का समय की जो सीमा है उसका पालन करते हुए हमारे सन्मुख उनके विचार रखे और काफी बेहतर रूप से खास करके युवाओं और छात्रों के लिए जो गुड गवर्नेंस पब्लिक पॉलिसी पर्सपेक्टिव से आत्मनिर्भर भारत का निर्माण कैसे होता है और क्या हमारे जो प्रजा सेवक हैं वो भी कार्य करते हैं। कई ऐसे बौद्धिक नेतृत्व में भी किस तरह से अलग अलग विषयों पर कार्य होता है, इस बात पर मंथन हुआ, चर्चा हुई और खास करके छात्रों और विशेषकर प्रबंधन के छात्रों के लिए काफी एक बड़ा संदेश है कि किसी भी कार्य में हम जाएं, एक हमारा समाज की ओर दृष्टिकोण होना चाहिए और उस दृष्टिकोण के द्वारा हम कैसे विभिन्न प्रकल्प को अपनेपन के द्वारा लोगों के लिए हम प्रस्तुत कर सकते हैं और इस अपनापन अगर कार्य में आता है तो अपने आप ही उसकी ऊर्जा भी मिलती है। भार्गव जी हमारे सन्मुख आ गए हैं। भार्गव जी, आपसे निवेदन है कि अनम्यूट करके आपका विषय रखें।
आई एम सॉरी, कई कनेक्टिविटी इश्यूज आ रही हैं एट माय एंड, बट होपफुली आई डोंट नो हाउ मच of what I said was heard, but I mean, I don't know. It doesn't matter. I will just go ahead with that.
Nothing was heard.
You can start from the
I don't know.
beginning.
I'm repetitive here, but Professor Mohammed I was talking about, where he spoke about quality being an indispensable part of our existence, and he also stressed upon FDI being a critical component of our lives and our business. He also touched upon technology is owned by one person, and then it branching out to various areas. He also spoke about production with proper technology. That's something which is the core of our industry policy. He also touched upon inclusiveness. Shri Adityanath Das spoke very importantly about implementation of policy which is drawn out of political manifestos. And he also touched upon implementation, problem solving, and grievance redress, which are the fulcrum of our lives, of our industry policy and any policy to be formulated. Formulation of policy is a vital aspect he mentioned. And he also spoke about the bureaucrats being a problem, having some role in bureaucracy. I would say that, a couple of problems we have created for ourselves. Then we can solve the problems. It is not that everything is has to be completely designed in a manner that it is no problem to solve every problem. We can look at ourselves within the space that we have as bureaucrats. That's a very important image. I don't know if you hear me. Start beginning this, I go back to first.
Your voice was not audible when you have started. So might be you can summarize in a minute about various speakers, what they have shared the thoughts.
There is again
there is some
disconnected.
issue in the connectivity. राजेश जी और धीरज जी, yeah. Bhargav ji, can you unmute?
See you guys a lot today. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir, you are audible now.
Yeah, so I will try start. I'll just take off
Sir, I'll
from
request you to switch off
whatever
your
you have
video.
heard. What I'll be just essentially telling you is a very brief recap. So I don't know whether you heard about Adityanath, my recap of Dr. Mr. Adityanath. Have you heard that?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir, we did. So I'll request you to switch off the video so that the connection is better. The voice can use the bandwidth.
I think some problem is with the microphone because he is getting the audio, but his voice is not reaching us. Some connectivity issue.
Sir, I think sir is facing issues with his network.
I just had a word. Hello, sirs. I just had a word with Mr. Bhargav Mitra. He says that let us drop his valedictory address, and we. Thank you.
As
Professor Rajiv Sujaria, sir, I'll request you to invite Gitanjali ma'am for vote of thanks.
right, as the request made by Sri Bhargavji, in spite of his multiple attempts, and we were eager to listen him, as wisely he have concluded and valedictory note. But looking to the circumstances and the limitations, now I would like to call Dr. Gitanjali Batra for vote of thanks as a formal token of gratitude to all the speakers and others. Please.
And then national anthem.
Thank you so
After
much
vote of thanks.
Right, sir.
I'd like to start with a quote from Swami Vivekananda ji. Fill the brain with high thoughts, highest ideals, face them day and night before you, and out of that will come great work. With these thoughts in mind, I take this privilege to present a formal vote of thanks to presenting their valuable insights on an important issue of good governance and public policy for self-reliant India. I would like to express my deep gratitude towards speakers for the day for accepting the invitation, sparing time from their busy schedule, and sharing their ideas and vision on good governance and public policy for self-reliant India. I would start my gratitude from Dr. Mahir, convener of the webinar, Dr. Dheeraj Kumar Singh ji, General Secretary, Raj, Shri Krishnanand Maharaj ji, co-convener, Raj, Shri Rajesh Kumar ji, President, Raj, Professor Unnat P. Pandit ji, Dean, ABV-SME, Professor Rana P. Singh ji, Rector, Jawaharlal Nehru University, Shri Adityanath Das ji, Chief Secretary, Government of Andhra Pradesh, Honorable Justice Shiv Kumar Singh ji, Judicial Member, National Green Tribunal, Professor Manoj Pant ji, PC and Director, Institute of Foreign Trade, Shri R. Ramanan ji, Additional Secretary and Mission Director, AIM, Niti Aayog, Government of India. Dr. Shakti Sinha ji, IAS, former PS to Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, Honorary Director, ABVI of Policy Research and International Studies. Shri Sujit Kumar Vajpayee ji, Joint Secretary, MOEF and CC Government of India. Shri Rajiv Jain ji, Additional DG, PIB and Spokesman, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs and Ministry of Civil Aviation, Government of India. Professor Sanjeev Kumar Sharma ji, Vice Chancellor, MGCU, Bihari. Shri Manish Inamdar ji, Senior Director, ESR Group. Dr. Rajesh B. Biniwale ji, Senior Principal Scientist and Head, CTM Division, Delhi. Dr. BBL Madhukar ji, Director General, Chamber of Commerce Industry. Dr. Nakul Parashar ji, Director, Vigyan Prasar. And Shri Bhargav Mitra ji, Counselor, Embassy of India, Tashkent. The entire session was full of knowledge and deep understanding of the issue coming from the real-life experiences of our esteemed speakers who are excelling in their respective professional spheres. I express my thankfulness to the entire organizing team consisting of Alumni Association of JNU, Atal Bihari Vajpayee School of Management and Entrepreneurship, Mahatma Gandhi Central University, Bihar, Motihari, GRC India and BRICS, Chamber of Commerce and Industry. They all have worked very hard to make this webinar a resounding success. I would like to thank Professor Rajiv Sujaria ji for doing excellent job of moderation on the webinar and our very efficient and hardworking team of students of ABV-SME JNU who would very soon be becoming the alumnus of JNU for introducing our speakers very nicely and very precisely. I would like to place on record my gratefulness to all the participants for joining the webinar. Looking forward to a series of such knowledgeable sessions and hoping that we all are able to imbibe these values in our life and make world a better place. Thank you.
Now we all will stand up at our place for national anthem and we will observe national anthem.
Jana Gana Mana Adhinayaka Jaya He Bharat Bhagya Vidhata Punjab Sindh Gujarat Maratha Dravida Utkal Banga Vindhya Himachal Yamuna Ganga Uchchala Jaladhi Taranga Tava Shubha Name Jage Tava Shubha Ashish Mange Gahe Tava Jaya Gatha Jana Gana Mangala Dayak Jaya He Bharat Bhagya Vidhata Jaya He Jaya He Jaya He
भारत माता की
Jai.
Jai.
Now, with the permission of the chair, I would like to conclude this event formally. Subratri.
Thank you
आप
very
सबको
much.
बहुत धन्यवाद, बहुत धन्यवाद.
Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for joining today's event. Next event of ABV-SME is scheduled on 12th January 2021. So request all participants to join for that event as well. Thank you very much.
See you all next year, sir.
नमस्कार.
Happy New Year.
आप सबों को।
Happy New Year to everyone, sir, and Merry Christmas, sir.
Christmas, yes.
जी जी, थैंक यू, नमस्कार।